Hey everybody, thanks for being here. You are at the Canary Cry News Talk live stream pre-stream. Good job, and good job to Geronimo 2016 over on YouTube for first comment of the day. Okie dokie, we have no timer today, so we're just gonna wing it, baby. I think we're gonna start the show in just about a minute or so, but this is one of your three reminders this week that you can head to CanaryCry.Party. It's a real URL, CanaryCry.Party. Go there and you'll find all sorts of fun links. You can find all the places that we live stream, the archived episodes. You can find all of our social media connections. The Discord channel is there. Go ask for an invite to that. You can find links to our own off-grid social media network. That's CanaryCry.Community. Go there, get connected. And let's see, what else we got over here? Oh, you can join the newsletter. Yeah, join the newsletter. Everybody should do that. Don't worry, we don't send a whole lot of them. Once a week, we will send all of the sources that we use for the show that week to your inbox. So you will have every source that we use. It's an excellent resource, especially if you find yourself, getting in conversations with people about the stuff we talk on the show, and they're like, well, show me where's your sources, bro? Show me the sauce. You have them all there in your email box. So it's a really good resource, and it works to decentralize our resources, sending it out to all of you guys. So go sign up for the newsletter. It's good stuff. Other than that, I think we're going to get the show started. Apologies for the late start today, folks. And that's it. That's all I have to offer you. It's my humble offering. All right. Well, with that being said, let's get the party started. As usual, stay hydrated, buckle your seatbelts. Let's go.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is January 10th, 2022. And we are live to tape this episode 431. And today, mass DELTACRONOSIS everywhere. What? You heard me right, folks. Basil, I'm your best buddy Basil.
And this is Gonz, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ. Welcome to the podcast where we bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. And we even have jingles with buttons.
Buttons. We got some real life buttons in the house, Gonz. How you liking the new interface?
It's pretty cool so far. I want to show people, but it's difficult to lift it up and show the camera. But it's a little Stream Deck. Stream Deck. 32 buttons, multiple channels. I don't have it fully converted over to it yet, but if you can see here, I can press buttons to make things happen.
Wow. Real life buttons.
Real life buttons. And let's see. Today's Monday. Let's do a little this.
Gary, what day is it? Monday.
That's right. It is Monday. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it, Gonz. And see? You're welcome.
I'm not 100% convinced yet.
Oh, stop it. He's just putting on an act now that we're on air. He's very excited about it. But yes, it will require training and more work to get it fully integrated with the show. Wow, you found some extra fun ones, I see.
Ambient birds. It used to be a thing at the beginning of Canary Cry radio episodes. So just bringing some back.
Hey. What other podcasts will just play ambient bird noises over their intro? None. Just us, yes. And I was working on my tap keyboard, my tap strap 2.
Is that what it's called?
It's called Tap Strap.
Wow.
Tap Strap 2.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty cool device. For those, if you missed Friday's episode, I was talking about my cool new gadget that I get to play with, which I'm not using this episode because apparently my computer doesn't have a Bluetooth system in it. So I couldn't connect it to the computer. But I've been training on the Tap Strap, which is, for those who don't know, it's this little device. I guess I could, no, that'd be too hard. It's like 5 rings you wear on your finger, and you tap your fingers to type like a keyboard. Not like a regular keyboard, but the combination of fingers that you tap decides what letters being, typed. And I thought it was going to be much more difficult than it was to learn it. I worked, practiced on it half hour today, and I got it pretty good. But I'll keep practicing. But for today, I'm just on the regular old Multiverse point and click keyboard. But I want to play with my new toys too, Gonz.
Are some people in chat are saying the jingle or the little board here is a little bit loud, and I'm wondering if it's something that
you could probably turn it down on OBS. Just turn down the input on OBS.
That's not how I have it configured there, pal. Yeah, it's okay. No, I can change it in loopback. So I just did that. I turned it down a little bit. We'll see if that helps. But
okay.
Anyway, doesn't matter. You sent me a text over the weekend, and you said, "Go watch the trailer for Everything Everywhere," and I ignored you for like 10 hours.
As usual. Everything Everywhere all at once.
All at once. Yes. And I got around to watching the trailer. I have an edited down version of it here. Would you like me to play it and stop it every time I see relevant or pertinent information here?
Yeah, however you want to do it. We didn't talk about this beforehand, so if you have a plan, that's great. It's not really one of those things we can just play all the way through without commenting on. So
sure, and we, as most listeners that are returning here know, we do operate on a value for value model, which means that we don't have anything, and we don't have any advertising, we don't have any monetization on YouTube or anything like that. So most likely, if we play trailers and play clips and stuff like that, we're going to get hit with a copyright claim, which happens all the time, at least on YouTube. And, they'll probably make money off of our content.
Oh yeah, if they put any ads on it, it's them. It's not us. We're not seeing any money from it.
So the part of having that value for value producers come in is for us to be able to freely just play whatever clips and whatnot, because we're not redistributing this stuff. We're just commenting on it. But here it is, the trailer to Everything Everywhere All the Time. Is that what it is?
Yep.
Mrs. Wang.
Mrs. Wang, are you with us?
I am paying attention.
Okay, pause.
Okay, wow, this was early. Okay.
The A24, which I think is like a production company or something.
It's the studio,
yeah. Okay. Their logo is done up in googly eyes.
Like 100 googly eyes.
Yes.
Right.
Now, you may only see a pile of receipts, but I see a story. I can see where this story is going.
Yeah, right there. Real subtle. But this main character grabs a pair of googly eyes off of looks like a pillow or something.
I did not even see that the first time.
She grabs them and throws them on the ground.
It does not look good.
What's happening?
A film from Daniels, and the O from is a googly eye.
Googly eyes everywhere.
I'm not your husband. Across the multiverse, I've seen thousands of Evelyns.
Main character's name is Evelyn Eve.
Yeah.
Something to that too.
Can access all their memories, their emotions, even their skills. There's a great evil spreading throughout the many verses. And you may be your only chance of stopping it.
Don't make me fight you. I am really good.
I don't believe you.
It's spring.
He's waiting in the wings.
The universe
He speaks of senseless things.
is so much bigger than you realize.
Right there was a moment when one of the, I don't know, some character puts a googly eye on the center of the forehead.
Yes, they put a googly eye in the, and that was the first time I noticed googly eyes happening in the trailer.
Oh, really?
And for those who are just listening to the audio, the video is chock-a-block full of multiverse dimensional stuff. The whole movie's about this sort of older Asian lady who has access to her multi-dimensional selves and skills. And I thought it was kind of interesting because, we've seen multiverse films and TV series. In fact, this seems like a direct descendant of Sense8, which is a Wachowski sisters series that streams on, I don't know, Netflix or something.
Proper calling them sisters.
Well, just so everybody knows. And what was I saying? Oh, yes. So it's like a direct descendant of a Wachowski gig, where, an individual gains the skills and the consciousness from their many multiverse selves, which I thought was interesting. Because, of course, I've been talking about my travels through the multiverse for many years now. And, googly eyes playing such a big part in it. There's something about the googly eyes, man. They are showing up more and more and more in pop culture. I think this is my time. This is my moment.
We're not even through some of the gems. Easter egg gems. Michelle Yeoh is the main character. She was the main character in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Crazy Rich Asians, Shang-Chi. She's in all the. She's like one of the top Hollywood Asian actresses. But anyway,
do you know if she's Korean?
I think she's Chinese.
Chinese.
I'm pretty sure she's Chinese. Okay, so let's go back to the thing here.
Is so much bigger than you realize.
A lot of punching.
Our mission concerning the fate of every single world of our infinite multiverse.
Real quick, right there. They're in some multiple parallel universe where the daughter, I think the daughter character here is some kind of princess or something, and she, the main character here, Evelyn, is there, and these priests-like entities, people are around her, and they all have the circle mark on their foreheads.
Oh yeah. Big circle.
Yeah.
There is no way I am the Evelyn you are looking for.
Every rejection, every disappointment has led you here.
Here we go. This is where flying googly eyes everywhere, and then an animated rock with googly eyes that turns around and looks at you. I think this is your cameo.
This might be my cameo right here. Yes, the sentient googly-eyed rock.
Let's go back a little bit. It happens quick, folks. Also, I think there was a rocket reference there. The talking raccoon from what's that? I can't remember the name of the movie.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
There you go.
Yeah, it's some sort of singing raccoon.
Yes. Okay. Here, back to the trailer here.
World of our infinite multiverse.
There is no way I am the Evelyn you are looking for.
Every rejection, every disappointment has led you here. To this moment.
Universes colliding.
Distract you from it.
The third googly eye, Basil.
Yeah, I know, man. Yes, it ends with our hero sticking a big googly eye right in the center of her forehead as she looks to be preparing for some sort of battle or something. I was so excited. First of all, this looks like a pretty good movie, just as far as movies go. But the fact that it's all wrapped up in multiverse stuff and googly eyes seem to play a prominent role in the storyline. I'm thinking, I don't know. Look, I'm not saying I'm the first guy to slap some googly eyes on a VR helmet and basically build an entire personal brand around googly eyes. But it's certainly, I did it at a time where googly eyes were the subject of much ridicule. And, I've spent a couple of minutes on the podcast here and there talking about the googly eyes and the artistic nature, the message that the googly eyes are sending. Some people just think it's a silly thing making fun of conspiracy theorists, but there's deeper things going on here. And it seems like the creator of this film agrees with me. Now, we may have some different ideas about this, but I can't wait for the movie. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to love it. And I think this is a signal. It's a signal, Gonz, to start branching out the public. They're being predictive programmed to accept the words of the googly-eyed man in the metaverse, and that's me. So this is paving the way.
Well, Everything Everywhere All at Once, the little title sequence at the end with raining down googly eyes. Mm-hmm. And it's not just a pair. Your VR headset represents, a pair of googly eyes.
Sure.
But in this case, it's eyes everywhere. And there's there's a reference to the omnipotent nature of, or trying to be godlike. And that's part of, I'm sure, this movie is, tapping into godlike powers. If you're able to tap into all the skill sets of, all the myriad of multiverse personalities and experiences, you can gather it all into one thing like a god in one universe or whatever. But it reminded me, and your googly eyes has always been kind of a reference to this in some way, shape, or form, I think. But Ezekiel 1:8, it's the wheel within a wheel. It's that vision, the four wheels. And in verse 18, it says, "And their rims were tall and awesome, and the rims of all four were full of eyes all around." Googly eyes all over in the Ezekiel wheel within a wheel. And then later in chapter 10, verse 12 and 13, their entire bodies, these are the cherubim here, including their backs, hands, and wings, were full of eyes all around, as were their four wheels. I heard the wheels being called the whirling wheels. So very interesting. The cherubim covered in not googly eyes per se, but just eyes everywhere as sort of the reference, and our modern contemporary motif of such things, of omnipotence or omnipresence, being the googly eyes everywhere, the little just craft that people thought was just.
I think the way is being prepared, Gonz.
I'm pretty sure it is
being prepared. Maybe I need to get 1,000 more tiny googly eyes to go onto this.
Or your googly, or your pair VR of googly headset. Eyes. Your pair of googly eyes can be made of small googly eyes, like a mosaic style,
Whoa, bro. Yeah. I got to start working on the website. All right. Well, there you go. It's a good trailer. If you haven't checked it out, it's called Everything Everywhere All at Once, and I can't wait to watch it and tell everybody about it. Yeah. Speaking of multiverse, I saw this trailer when I saw the new Spider-Man this weekend.
Oh, yeah? How's that?
Yeah. And, it's just all multiverse all the time nowadays.
That's, it seems to be the multiverse propaganda, the predictive programming seems to have ramped up in a time where everyone's going to start moving into the metaverse. It's almost like psychologically preparing people to just be like, oh yeah, you're living this other life in the metaverse. It's kind of like the multiverse. Same thing.
That's a great point. The metaverse is sort of our closest analog to a multiverse that you could participate in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, very interesting.
All right, another just quick update here. Does this song do anything for you, Basil, when you hear it? Let me get it going here. Oh, hold on. Let's see. Aha, here we go.
I need my sniffle button.
Does this bring back memories from your childhood?
A little bit. I was a real youngin'.
Okay, yeah, I was young, but
it was a little bit more focused on your generation. But yes, of course, you must be referring to the recent news about Bobbert Saget
Yes. Danny Tanner, as I remember when I was a kid, passes away at age 65. And, there's a lot of outpouring of love from comedians and people that knew him and stuff like that. And 65, still too young. But he passed away, I guess, in a hotel room. He was on tour and everything. And they haven't released any information as to like what happened. But, a lot of speculation. Some people speculating about, he was vaccinated, allegedly. I have his tweet here from July 2021. I get vaccinated 5 to 6 times a day, and I feel great. And it was a little jab.
Great.
It's it's a little elbow jab towards the vaccine skeptics. And he does. There was a picture of him reading a Jake Tapper book called The Devil May Dance. Apparently, he's friends with Jake Tapper. So whatever that means. I mean, I'm not saying that has anything to do with his death per se, but it's sad to hear about his passing, but also why aren't they? If it was COVID related, it would have been all over the headlines, right?
Maybe.
I think
I don't know.
If he actually died of COVID, yeah.
Here's the problem: when it's a celebrity death, it's not just news. You've got PR wrapped up in it. You've got big production studios. You've got, royalties. There's so much more. It's not just Bob Saget, a person dying,
right,
or any celebrity. It's not a person passing away. It's a brand. It's a business. It's a this. It's a that. And so we almost never are given the full story ever. But especially right away. So there's no way to know. I mean, once the PR people and the marketing people and the studio people and the blah, 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 and everybody gets their hands on it, then there'll be some sort of official story that comes out, and we'll see what they have to say. I was not much of a Full House guy, though, Gonzo. I was more of America's funniest home videos.
Yes, the internet before the internet.
Exactly.
I mean, he really did set up the meme culture,
memes, YouTube,
everything. Yeah, YouTube, all that stuff. TikTok, even. That was
prepared the way for wasting your life by just sitting and letting the YouTube algorithms show you funny videos of cats and stuff.
Yeah, and also I remember when my buddies were like, "You gotta watch his stand up," and they didn't tell he didn't tell me anything, and I watched and I went, "Oh my gosh, he's saying words and things that are so inappropriate." Yeah,
I never watched. I heard he was
he's a very
not a family friendly show.
No, which is I don't think anybody could really do that now. With social media and the internet and everything. I think back in the 80s,
well, he
90s.
was doing it now. He was on tour.
I know, but everybody knows now. Everybody knows he's like a dirty comic now. But like back in the day, he's family, the dad of a family show kind of thing.
Right. It wasn't his
meanwhile,
brand back in the 90s.
Well, he was still doing stand-up, and meanwhile, he was doing like dirty jokes on stage at night or whatever. So anyway, whatever. Either way, I know people will miss him and stuff like that, but just reporting on the news here, and
he also would get some there was some, I don't know, he'd make some weird jokes about stuff that related to things like Pizzagate and stuff like that I think people were not too stoked on.
No. Yeah.
So, anywho, there you go. And you know what they say? It happens in threes. We had Betty White, Bob Saget, and so we got to keep our eye out. One more
I guess different worlds, but Madden passed away.
He may count. Yeah,
he's pretty big. I mean,
Saget may have been the third. He may count. I mean, I think
Madden's bigger than Saget, though.
It just depends. I mean, I don't know. I was not for non-sports people. For non-sports people, Madden was just a guy who had a video game.
Okay.
So, I don't know. I mean, that could be the three. I know Madden meant a lot to football people for sure. But to non-football people, he's the guy with the video game.
Sure.
So yes, maybe that's the three. We'll see if anything else. But Betty White and Bob Saget, very lovable figures, at least in the sort of secular mind.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, who else is a lovable figure? It's Flippy, baby. Time for the Flippy update.
Hey, this board is supposed to work, isn't it?
Oh no!
This is what I'm saying, man. I'm not fully convinced that this thing's going to be good for.
We'll work out the kinks.
Come on, it's not working. I'm using the backup.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
I wonder if having the backup.
Oh, see.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
That was the response time. By the way,
you know what you might need to do?
Yeah.
If you have the source files buried too deep.
The source files are completely new because I made a whole different.
Them. Okay. All right. Well, we'll troubleshoot. All right. It's time for the Flippy update, people. If you don't know, Flippy is the colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use talking about Flippy as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways that robots are taking over the world and how there's nothing we can do about it. Today's Flippy update is coming from wonderfulengineering.com. Woo, wonderful engineering. The headline: these robots made by Swiss researchers have built new hanging gardens. Woo. In a project that involved collaborating with robots, researchers from ETH Zurich, it's interesting, are developing a large architectural structure that will imitate the Babylonian hanging gardens. Dun, dun, dun. Babylon returns, thanks to the robot arms. The project, named Semiramis, after the Assyrian queen, who is sometimes linked to the ancient garden, was created using artificial intelligence and is being developed with the help of 4 robots. Ooh, that's a lot of robots. 5 geometrically intricate wooden pods, each planted with trees and other vegetation, will make up the structure. It'll be supported by 8 thin steel pillars and will reach a height of 22.5 meters. Wow, that is very tall. Architecture and building have always been on the cutting edge of technological and material innovations, albeit quietly. The concept is a giant sculpture planter with hanging gardens, inspired by mythical structures in Babylon's old city. Computer rendering of final hanging garden structure. That's the what do they call it? The caption.
Caption on the picture. Yep.
Of course, its authors, architectural professors Fabio Gramazio and Matthias Kohler, came up with the overall concept. However, the design was created by running a collection of computer models and machine learning algorithms through the essential parameters, such as size, the need for watering, and construction style. Semiramis will be installed on the grounds of Tech Cluster Zug, a Swiss innovation center currently under construction. In the spring of 2022, the structure will be built and planted. The algorithm that controls the arms organizes their movements so that they do not collide. The design included software and algorithms developed by experts at a Swiss university and used for the first time on this project. The researchers were presented with a variety of design possibilities that fit their submitted parameters, thanks to a machine learning system created in partnership with the Swiss Data Science Center. Different pod forms and spatial configurations were among the alternatives, and the variations would be highlighted in terms of how they influenced particular goal variables, blah, blah, blah. The researchers used software created in collaboration with ETH Zurich's Computational Robotics Lab to investigate and fine-tune the designs in augmented reality. Ooh, we're getting the augmented reality involved. The researchers' final design for Semiramis is currently being built. Fabrication laboratory where 4 suspended robotic arms operate in unison to assemble its wooden elements. Dun, dun, dun. Babylon is back, Gonz. And not only is it being assembled by 4 robotic flippy arms, you know, hey, these guys keep coming up, man, from flipping burgers to building one of the wonders of the Earth,
ancient wonders,
one of the ancient wonders. But also, it was designed by AI. Mm-hmm. This was from the deep dark abyss of the black box of AI came a design to resurrect the Babylonian hanging gardens to be constructed by robotic arms. I think this is a perfect flippy update, Gonz, and signals The end.
I was going to say, what spirit would be operating that AI to want to build Babylon up again?
Yeah, some AI demon is wanting to build back Babylon.
The Semiramis, by the way, is Samur Amat in Sumerian, and she's a famous queen in the Assyrian Empire in the 8th century BCE. And she was known as a legendary warrior and exercised political power. She was known to be, like a rare beauty, a military strategist, a master builder. And some even think she was actually the builder of Babylon. But then Eusebius came around. I think he's in the 3rd century. He's a biblical, or from Greece. He was one of the, written historical works there. And he actually said that Semiramis was Nimrod's wife.
Oh.
In the 3rd century. That's what he said, connecting all these different dots. And then it was the Two Babylons, written by Alexander Hislop in 1850s. And, some people have debunked some of the claims that Alexander Hislop has said about the Jews and their blood lineage and stuff like that. However, some of the occult references to various things happening, and I think some of that is accurate. And Hislop did talk about Nimrod and Semiramis and how they created the polytheism, and they were responsible for pulling people away from God in the ancient times. And Hislop's the one that connects Semiramis to the Queen of Heaven, which is mentioned, I think, in the book of Isaiah, and even connects Semiramis to other pagan goddesses, Ishtar, Astarte, and Astaroth. And those goddesses, or gods in some type of translation, that is mentioned in the Bible a few times, a couple times in the book of Samuel. And I think there's another New Testament reference as well. But if you look at the biblical concordance here of Astarte, Ashtoreth, attributes of the goddess, Ashtoreth as a moon goddess, and the name of a supreme goddess of Canaan, and the female counterpart of Baal. We all know Baal is a bad guy in the Old Testament. Under Semitic influence, however, she became solely female, but retained a memory of her primitive character by standing alone among the Assyrio-Bab goddesses on a footing of equality with the male divinities. So, if you think about all the woke stuff happening nowadays and the gender bending and all that kind of stuff, it's just bringing everything back to Babylon. It's not really anything new. There's nothing new under the sun, even if it's robot arms recreating an ancient garden named after the ancient goddess Semiramis.
Couldn't be more perfect.
Nothing new, man. They're just doing old stuff.
Show.
At least for this show, yeah. I guess if you bring that to a random person, they'll be like, what are you talking about?
Who cares?
Who cares?
And what does robot arms have to do with anything?
Oh, it's everything.
The robot arms are the keys to everything. Why doesn't anybody listen to me?
It's the key to everything, everywhere, all at once.
Ah, thank you. All right, let's talk about COVID.
Here we go.
It's Corona time. COVID-19, COVID-19, COVID-19,
COVID-19, yeah.
COVID-19, COVID-19, coronavirus.
Vaccine, number one way.
Couple of notes, Gonz. I don't know if you open these up, but just a couple of notes. Not going to read them.
Okay.
Reported on Fox, or mirrored by Yahoo News. AOC tests positive for COVID-19 after partying in Miami, maskless.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so we've mentioned over a few episodes here AOC's troubles lately. I actually don't think we did talk about it much, but the short story is, in the midst of the Omicron crisis, AOC flees to Florida to go to
Wait a minute,
drag bars and party.
I thought Florida was the place where all the bad people are, the Trumpers. Well,
exactly. The place that she has spent the past 2 years lambasting for their COVID measures. She leaves in the midst of a crisis in New York to go to hang out in Florida. And she's, there's many photos and videos of her have come out of her Florida time, running around maskless in crowds and bars and things. And she's got the Rona. She got the Omicron or COVID or something. So not surprising, but you know what? Sometimes I don't want her to be sick. I wish no ill on AOC, but that's just how life works out sometimes.
Okay.
Another note here. This is coming from thehill.com. Study: COVID-19 vaccination may cause temporary slight change to menstrual cycle. This narrative is shifting. I almost put together a timeline like I did with some of our other things that we've been right about for 2 years now. But I didn't. Of course, we've been very worried about the vaccine's effect on just women in general. I mean, pregnant women also. But after what was it? It was something like 19,000 reports in the first month or two of the vaccine of women having strange changes to their menstrual cycle. It then was met by, vitriol and lashback and
Good Morning America having on doctors that just promise or just say like,
anger,
conspiracy
accusations of conspiracy theory and all sorts of nasty stuff from the mainstream media. But now it's being reported, there's a study out and there's a temporary slight change to menstrual cycles in this study. Now, I won't go through the whole thing, but they are making the case that, don't worry, we studied all sorts, 4,000 women, both vaxxed and unvaxxed, and the vaccinated women had a 1-day change in their menstrual cycle. So it's not a big deal and it's temporary and
I like this line here in the article. While statistically significant, there was a slight change while there was a slight change while statistically significant was not clinically significant.
Right. And
good.
Which is correct. It was statistically significant.
It's a good line. Like, how often can you can just say, the stats say da da da. You can say, well, yeah, statistically significant, but is it clinically significant?
Well, they're doing the same thing with the myocarditis.
Yeah.
They're saying, yes, okay, all right, we admit it. Boys are getting myocarditis from the vaccine, but it's not a big deal. It's minor and it's temporary. Well, they're saying the same thing about the menstrual cycles. Now, I actually dug into the actual study. And the timeline that they have set out, the 1-day change in the menstrual cycle, I was like, that's weird. Okay, because there was 19,000 reports about like all sorts of crazy stuff. Postmenopausal women starting their menstrual cycles again. Just one example. Trans men starting to menstruate again after, they're on hormone therapy or whatever, all sorts of crazy stuff. I looked into the report or the actual study, and that 1-day thing is a model that they created.
Of course, it's a model
based off of the results. So like it's an averaging model. So say you have, they had 2,000 vaccinated women. Some women have no change at all. Other women will have, something crazy happen, they're 5 days late or their menstrual cycle doesn't stop or whatever. Basically, they took all that, put it into a model to create an average. This is an imaginary average of the experiences of this women, saying, it only changes it by 1 day. Don't freak out. Which is just a deceptive way to present the information.
Yeah.
So there you go. But it's not as much about that. It's more about the meta trend, the trend going on where the super tanker is making the turn in the middle of the ocean. It's slow but steady, and the narratives are coming out now. Okay, sure, it causes myocarditis, but it's not a big deal. Don't be afraid. Sure, yes, it tampers with your menstrual cycle, but don't freak out. It's just a little bit. What are you, scared?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, now we can get into the real stories.
It's called the Omicron.
Oh, no, it's not, Mr. President. CNBC.com. Cyprus reportedly discovers a COVID variant that combines Omicron and Delta. So scary.
There it is. The baby has been born. It wasn't Flurona like we thought.
Yeah.
There's an actual Deltacron infant running around.
A researcher in Cyprus has discovered a strain of the coronavirus that combines the Delta and Omicron variant. Bloomberg News reported on Saturday. Leonidas Kostrikis, professor of biological sciences at the University of Cyprus, called the strain DELTACRON. Sorry, I got these buttons here. I have the dramatic epic button, so we'll use that every once in a while. Because of its Omicron-like genetic signatures with the Delta genomes, Bloomberg said. Oh, so it's a hybrid. Are we talking about hybrids here? So far, Kostrikis and his team have found 25 cases of the virus, according to the report. It's still too early to tell whether there are more cases of the strain or what impacts it could have. Quote, we will see in the future if this strain is more pathological or more contagious, or if it will prevail against the two dominant strains, Delta and Omicron.
Deltacron will prevail.
Kostrikis said in an interview with Sigma TV on Friday.
Yeah, there it is, baby. I was a little disappointed. I'm like, oh, come on. You guys are going to take away my Sigma prediction. You're not going to go to the next scary sounding piece of the alphabet. You're going to make Delta invent one. But no, interesting. Deltacron being reported on Sigma TV. They had to put it in there.
Yeah, very interesting.
I think that's the signaling that this is the Sigma thing. But they're
maybe Sigma is Deltacron, or Deltacron, maybe.
I'm not sure if Deltacron will last. I think it'll transition into Sigma.
It's going to change to Sigma. Mm-hmm. When Upsilon.
Yeah, that one's spooky too. But that's probably not till later.
Yeah, this year, end of the year. The researchers sent their findings this week to GISAID, or GISAID, an international database that tracks viruses, according to Bloomberg. The Deltacron variant comes as Omicron continues its rapid spread across the globe, causing a surge in COVID-19 cases. The U.S. is reporting a 7-day average of more than 600,000 new daily cases, according to CNBC analysis Friday of data from Johns Hopkins University. That's a 72% increase from the previous week. And a new pandemic record. We're breaking records.
Woo! Did they mention if Deltacron is a variant of concern yet?
Nope, they didn't mention anything.
Okay, all right. The Gorgesaurus on Twitch made a good point, which is they don't get officially named until they are officially a variant of concern.
That's right. Yeah.
So it still could be Sigma.
Sigma has there's a chance.
Sigma's in the wings.
Yeah, we got nothing riding on that, right? Other than just our pride.
Just my pride.
Your pride, yeah.
Yeah, that'll be 2 in a row, but who knows? It's okay.
All right. And just as a kind of a tag on here, there's a lot of COVID stories today. If you go to the show notes, we have our COVID-19 I am waxxine section. But if you go to additional stories, there's an additional 10 stories that we couldn't cover today, or we won't cover. There's so much stuff.
We have to kind of zoom through stuff.
Yeah, with the late start. This one.
Speaking of which, let me zoom through this Guardian one.
Okay.
Is that the one we're on?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. This is coming from theguardian.com. Again, just on the trend of the narrative shifting. Guardian.com headline, End Mass Jabs and Live with COVID, says ex-head of Vaccine Task Force.
What?
Uh-huh. COVID should be treated as an endemic virus similar to flu, and ministers should end mass vaccination after the booster campaign, the former chairman of the UK's Vaccine Task Force has said. With health chiefs and senior Tories also lobbying for a post-pandemic plan for a straining NHS, Dr. Clive Dix called for a major rethink of the UK's COVID strategy, in effect reversing the approach of the past 2 years and returning to a new normality.
A new normality. Okay.
He couldn't say new normal. New normal is so passe.
It triggers people because it didn't happen.
You've got to say new normality.
Oh my gosh.
Quote, we need to analyze whether we use the current booster campaign to ensure the vulnerable are protected if this is seen to be necessary, he said. Mass population-based vaccination in the UK should now end. Woo!
Yay. Yes,
so
I agree.
He's not an anti-vaxxer, but he's focusing on this. Hey, we'll give the vaccine to the people who need the vaccine. You know, this mass population-based approach is not working. He said ministers should urgently back research into COVID immunity beyond antibodies to include B cells and T cells, that's white blood cells. This could help create vaccines for vulnerable people specific to COVID variants, he said, adding, quote, we now need to manage disease, not virus spread. So stopping progression to severe disease in vulnerable groups is the future objective. His intervention comes as it was revealed that more than 150,000 people across the UK have now died from COVID. And then it goes on and goes into Boris Johnson and talking about how everybody needs the vax. But that's the meat of it there. You've got the ex-head of the vaccine task force being like, okay, everybody, let's settle down. This forced mass population vaccination effort is not what we need to be doing.
Interesting. But he's an ex-head of vaccine task force. So,
I know.
He
I
doesn't
thought
have any
about
power.
that too. It's an easy, he doesn't have any power except for, the power of public opinion.
Yeah.
To sway. But yeah, part of me was like, why is he ex? What happened?
Yeah, what happened?
What did he do?
He said that they shouldn't mandate vaccines. Out with you.
Exactly. It's talk like this that made him the ex vaccine task force. Real quick before you move on, I did want to say to anyone out there, any potential producers, producership is below average today, which will make for a nice short break segment. But if you're out there and you've been wanting to produce the show, been thinking about it, today would be a great day to do that. There's even a couple people who stand to lose their streaks. I'm assuming they're just, waiting or something for the show to come in. But yes, producership is a bit low. So if you've been thinking about it, praying about it, and thinking about becoming a producer of the show, today would be a great day to do that. Especially, we also have no executive or associate executive producers. So that's a great chance for somebody to swoop one of those up if that's what you're interested in. You can do that by heading to CanaryCryRadio.com/support.
All right. Oh, I should press the button there. Hold on.
Sure.
Let me try it on. I wasn't ready for you to do that here, but
no worries.
CanaryCryRadio.com/support.
Wow, great button.
Yeah, I got to fix that though because there's some silence at the beginning that shouldn't be there.
Some editing. Okay. Onward. This is MSN Health. I'm mirroring an ABC News article. CDC director says U.S. may see precipitous decline in Omicron cases like South Africa. Oh.
And Centers for Disease Control Prevention Director Rochelle Walensky. Oh, I should play by the way, on my little board here, I have a picture of Rochelle. You can't really see it. I don't know if I can show it on the camera. It may not show up, but it's a Rochelle button.
Yeah.
Get out of my face, Rochelle.
Yeah, that's a nice feature of the Stream Deck. Is that what it's called?
Stream Deck, yeah.
Yeah, you can put little pictures and GIFs on the button. So you've got all sorts of fun signifiers for you there.
I got like a little Fauci thing. I got a little virus dancing around. I have a little bell. I got praying hands. It's pretty cool. Okay, anyway. Rochelle Walensky said Friday there's a good chance that the U.S. will follow the ice pick-shaped curve of South Africa's Omicron surge of the COVID variant, but cautioned that it could roll through different parts of the country at various times, as previous waves have. Ice pick-shaped curve.
Yeah. Have you heard of this? I haven't heard of this.
No, but it sounds technical. Quote, I do think in places that we're seeing this really steep incline that we may well see also a precipitous decline, but we're also a much bigger country than South Africa, Walensky said in a briefing with reporters. And so it may very well be that we see this ice pick shape, but that is it travels across the country.
What?
I don't know, she said. And she goes on, I have a clip here from an interview she did with Good Morning America, and she says something very interesting here, so I'm just going to play it and we'll comment.
Is part of the consideration in not requiring a negative test after these 5 days because there aren't enough tests to go around in this country?
You know, we make these recommendations in the context of science, in the context of ongoing epidemiology, in the context of what is feasible in collaboration with our public health and local and state public health partners. And through that discussion and through the discussions within CDC with our own subject matter experts and with the FDA, we made the recommendation, you know, these tests are actually not authorized for the purpose of evaluating contagiousness.
I want to ask you about
There you go. There's one part right there talking about some of the tests and how they're not really meant to measure contagiousness, which I think we've known, but for whatever reason, you know, people either don't know that or it's just interesting to hear Rochelle Walensky actually say it. You know,
I know that's kind of the theme so far of this week is like, we know all the stuff. Yeah. The weird part is hearing it from the mouths of the deceivers.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, from the mouths of the people who have known this stuff for 2 years, but have refused and sometimes outright lied about it.
Yeah.
It's just really weird seeing the narrative change right in front of our eyes.
Oh, and it's yeah.
And if you haven't been paying attention for 2 years, you wouldn't even notice that there was a narrative change.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, it's only because it's our practice, it's our job to track these people's work that we can even notice this change of heart.
Well, you know, you're making a case for AI. They notice patterns that humans can't.
Oh, we don't need one. I am AI. You know, that is one of my favorite conspiracy theories about this show is that I am technically just an AI that you created.
That I created, yes. Yeah. I like taking the credit for the genius level of creation that I was able to. I use the practice of alchemy to create a golem, and here you are.
Yes, master. Beep or bloop.
Let me finish this clip here because there's another point she mentions, which I thought was very interesting.
Those encouraging headlines that we're talking about this morning, this new study showing just how well vaccines are working to prevent severe illness. Given that, is it time to start rethinking how we're living with this virus, that it's potentially here to stay?
The overwhelming number of deaths, over 75%, occurred in people who had at least 4 comorbidities.
Yeah.
75% of the deaths had at least, still getting used to this thing here, had 4 comorbidities?
That's a lot of comorbidities, and that's a lot of people who have all the comorbidities.
Do you remember, I think it was last year, the CDC, published their thing, and then like truther type of people picked up on this idea that only 6% of people that had died, according to like the statistics of CDC and the WHO and all that, actually died of only coronavirus. Everybody else had comorbidities, and people were like, the mainstream was like, no, see, this is how it works. You get sick, you have a heart disease, and then you get COVID, and COVID, it just wipes you out. That's how it works. And there were other deceptive news outlets saying that, you get COVID, and then that's what causes people to get pneumonia, and then they can't breathe, and then they die. So that's why, COVID causes all this death.
Right.
But clearly, the truth of the matter appears to be that people that are suffering from this the actual virus are people who seem to have other health issues, which makes a lot of sense. If you're already kind of unhealthy, you get another flu or cold type of thing on top of it, it could really hurt you. So duh. Like case. This is a duh from before the pandemic, but somehow it's like this crazy revelation now.
And that's always been the case for people with comorbidities. Yeah, if you're if you're getting chemo or if you have, there's all sorts of comorbidities. The flu becomes very dangerous. That's the whole point. Is even I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but it's the same concept as most people who die of the flu are people who are also at risk in one way or another.
Right. I really wish we can pull up some of that data or documentation from the CDC itself from last summer to look at some of the numbers, because for her to say 75% had 4 or more, I think that sounds like more than even what was reported.
What's the time frame on the numbers she's giving? Are those just the recent deaths, or are those I have no idea.
That's a good question. That would be a very poignant question to ask if you and I were actually
allowed to ask questions.
Yeah. No, in this setting, Rochelle gets to just say whatever and then move on.
Because if it's 75% of all COVID deaths in history are with 4 or more comorbidities, in hindsight, that changes everything.
A lot.
Yeah.
I mean, on top of, I've seen mainstream news outlets pick up the conversation about, are they dying of COVID or with COVID? I mean, those are things that we were talking about a year ago. Now the mainstream is like, wait a minute. And it's like, we've been thinking about these issues for a while. At least I think most people who are paying attention have been asking these kinds of questions. But, interesting that at the time it's mainstream outlets pushing it all down, debunking it or trying to debunk it or whatever. And now it's just like a matter of fact, like, of course, 75% of people who passed away had 4 comorbidities, but, I'm not going to really go into it.
Or comorbidities. So really, these are people who were unwell to begin with.
They were unwell to begin with. She says it.
And yes, really encouraging news in the context of Omicron. This means not only just to get your primary series, but to get your booster series. And yes, we're really encouraged by these results.
Nobody likes boosters.
We're encouraged.
Nobody likes you, booster.
That's a weird thing to say after such a morbid set of sentences. We're really encouraged.
Really encouraged by all these people dying. Mm-hmm. Real quick, because this just happened. I think I lost it. Moderna, or was it Pfizer? One of the two just came out and said they're going to have a Omicron variant vaccine ready to go by March. I think it was Moderna. Hold on, let me double check that. Let's see. I thought I had it ready to go and I did not. I apologize. Waiting for things to load. Load. All right, well, in the meantime here, let's move on.
Okay.
Oh, this is piggybacking on the whole CDC guidance here. Huffington Post. Where would we be without HuffPo? The headline here, confused by the CDC's new COVID isolation rules? Here's a clear guide.
Oh, thanks.
So I read through it and I was like, this is not clear at all. As the Omicron coronavirus variant surges across the world, many regions are seeing record high case numbers. The U.S. set a new 7-day average record every day over the past week. And by the way, how many times is it going to take for the public to learn? Because in my local neighborhood here, everyone's masked back up. For whatever, like with the mask mandate, Newsom did the thing like 2 or 3 weeks ago. He was like, all right, Californians, indoor mask mandate. And everyone's like, forget it, And then in the last like 2 or 3 days, I walked into a couple places and they were like, can you wear your mask? Because it's it's a sign up there. And I said, oh, okay, I'll bring it in next time. But yeah, just the temperament has changed locally around here. Everyone's freaked out. So anyway, as the Omicron coronavirus surges across the world, blah, 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 there's no denying that Omicron is significantly more transmissible than previous variants and spreading faster, yada, yada, yada. We know about this. And now many people who've been playing it safe for the entire pandemic are testing positive. Not that a diagnosis is any kind of moral referendum, with a link to shame you if you are against vaccinating. Scientists are still learning about Omicron, whether it's inherently less virulent than other strains. Yes. Okay, what do we do? But if you're out and about, the not so great news is that because Omicron is extra contagious, odds are pretty high that sometime in the near future you will test positive and need to isolate at home until your infection clears. The CDC's guidance for isolating is dense and can be somewhat confusing, especially since the rules seem to be in constant flux based on community transmission levels and people's vaccination status. But here we break it down clear and simple so you know if, when, and how you need to isolate. Okay. If you test positive for COVID and you do or don't have symptoms, regardless of whether you're fully vaccinated, boosted, partially vaccinated, or unvaccinated, if you test positive for COVID-19, you must isolate for 5 days from symptom onset per the CDC's latest guidance.
5 days.
5 days. This means the first full day of symptoms, the day you begin developing symptoms, is technically not included in the 5-day isolation period. In other words, it doesn't start on the day you begin to feel off, whether it's a sore throat later on the day or fatigue. That's what the CDC refers to as day 0. Is this any clearer to you? Why do they make it so complicated?
Is it the day after you have symptoms is day 0?
Yes, but technically you're not. Okay, let me just keep reading. For example, say you start feeling some congestion or a scratchy throat on a Monday afternoon. You suspect you might be infected, but you're not sure. At this point, though, please stay home and be safe. On Tuesday, you wake up feeling worse. Maybe you have a fever or your congestion got more intense, and it continues that way until you go to sleep. The next morning, you wake up feeling crummy again, so you take a test, and it's positive. In this scenario, your isolation period doesn't start from Monday. Monday is considered day 0. Your first day of the 5-day isolation period would be Tuesday, your first full day of symptoms.
Okay.
Well, who cares? Like, why?
Yeah, that is so specific.
It's so specific and pointless.
I have a hard time, thinking that people were this worried about the minutia. I guess if you're trying to figure out how many days of work you're going to miss or something.
Sure. The 5-day isolation period should also occur if you are asymptomatic and if you test positive. So, okay. Quote, once you got a positive test, you've got it. You're in a category where you have virus, said Bernadette Bowden-Albala, the director and founding dean of the University of California, Irvine's program in public health. If this is the case for you, the 5-day period begins the day after you test positive.
Why?
The actual day you test positive is part of day 0. This makes no sense to me, Basil. Why in the world, if you are asymptomatic, let's say you're asymptomatic, you don't feel anything, but then you're like, I'll just take a test, and you test positive, that day is day 0?
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
I don't know.
This just is nonsense. In fact, quote, most of the contagious period, believe it or not, begins even before you have symptoms. And we knew about this too, right? So what is this 5-day thing? There is just no...
So more or less, they want you to isolate for 5 days, but they don't want you to use any tricks to to make it shorter.
Right.
Basically.
Right.
Like, I felt weird on Monday, so I'll just count Monday. No. You do Tuesday. They're just like, add a day. Just wherever you felt sick, add a day to that. Start isolating. Stay in your cage.
I don't know. There clearly is not true science behind this.
Yeah, 5 days is different than 14, though. I'll tell you what.
It's true, but what changed? Why are we suddenly okay with just 5 days?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Let's see here. Here is something from the New York Times about Omicron. We're hearing all sorts of things about Omicron, especially about... No,
go ahead. Finish your thing. I have a little breakdown. We don't have to go through the whole article here. There's a part specifically that I was pointing out. If you want to read it, you can, but I can just go through it.
No. If you have something specific, I don't want to read the whole thing. It's kind of long.
So this is New York Times. The headline here, early data hints at Omicron's potential toll across America. And I'll just read a couple paragraphs and then get to the main part here. The extremely transmissible Omicron variant is spreading quickly across the U.S., blah, blah, blah. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention have said that it is still too soon to predict the full impact Omicron could have on deaths and illness across the country, but data in some of the earliest hit cities is beginning to show what the future could hold. And they show a chart here and how the death rate is kind of trailing the case rate, which, okay, that's all right. And then the main part here, you scroll down. Since vaccines became available, those who are vaccinated have been far less likely to be hospitalized with severe COVID-19 than those who are unvaccinated. Early data from New York City shows that the vaccination gap in hospitalizations became even wider during the weeks of the city's Omicron surge. And you know what's really interesting about the whole Omicron phenomenon here? If we're really paying attention, Omicron didn't even become a thing until media said it, you know, and I hope people, maybe the normies, and maybe that's mean to call people normies, but maybe they'll recognize that there wasn't, people were testing positive or whatever beforehand. It wasn't until the news media said Omicron that everyone started testing positive with Omicron. I don't know. It's just I don't know. Anyway. It says here, vaccinated patients are more likely to experience milder disease, doctors have said, and a vast majority of Omicron patients who require intensive care are unvaccinated or have severely compromised immune systems. And here's where I wanted to dig in, because they show a chart here. It says New York City, and then it's got the 100 COVID-19 hospitalizations per 100,000 people, and it goes from October to December. And there's a line at the bottom, vaccinated, and it's pretty low. It's hugging the zero line there on the x-axis. Mm-hmm. And then there's another line that dips down, and then it goes way up towards December, and it's labeled unvaccinated. Dun, dun, dun. And it looks like, oh my gosh, it's true. The unvaccinated are being hospitalized way more. And then you read the note here underneath the little graph, and it says, data is age adjusted. Okay. Recent data may be incomplete. But they don't explain what is adjusted by age. So the unvaccinated line is adjusted for age, or both are adjusted for age, or what are you talking about?
What is the adjustment?
What's the adjustment?
The adjustment is very important.
Yeah, we should know what that is.
Did you adjust the vaccinated line to be younger and the unvaccinated line to be older, or what is the adjustment? And then the note, and then within the same note saying recent data may be incomplete, kind of giving him an out, you know, like in 3 months when people are like, hey, this data was completely wrong. Well, it was just incomplete data. You know, it was just data we had at the time. And says, continuing on the article, unvaccinated older people are particularly vulnerable to severe illness. The hyperlink, though, the vast majority of Omicron patients who required intensive care are unvaccinated or have severely compromised immune systems. There is a hyperlink, which means source, right? Usually. Mm-hmm. You go to that source, and it's another New York Times article. Classic media move there to create a network of links to all your own material. And this article, the headline, in Omicron hotspots, hospitals fill up, but ICUs may not. And it was published on January 4th, a few days ago. And in this article, it says, quote, we are seeing an increase in number of hospitalizations, said Dr. Rahul Sharma, emergency physician in chief for New York Presbyterian Weill Cornell Hospital. But the severity of the disease looks different from previous waves, he said. Quote, we're not sending as many patients to the ICU. We're not intubating as many patients. And actually, most of our patients are coming to the emergency department that do test positive are actually being discharged. So nothing scary in that. Because people are going to the hospital because they've been programmed over 2 years that if you catch COVID, you're going to die. So you better go to the hospital. But it turns out just the opposite. They're going to the hospital and being released because they're not that sick. And here's the part that and that's the problem with the term hospitalization or hospitalized. Very vague. Is, again, from what we've been programmed over the past 2 years, when you say, oh, they got COVID and they were hospitalized, you're imagining ventilators. You're imagining, the hospital room covered in plastic and people in hazmat suits, taking care of them or whatever. Robots with iPads, teleconferencing with the doctor instead of the doctor going in. Those were the images that we were shown of the quote unquote COVID hospitalizations. But no, these are just people who show up at the ER or whatever and sign the form, see a doctor, and they say, "Oh, yeah, you're going to be fine. Go take some ivermectin."
Well,
go take some horse paste. You'll be fine.
You'll be fine. Well, here's the part, because this is a source, so I was trying to dig into. Okay, where is that source coming from? This idea that the unvaccinated. Are you okay over there?
Yep. Just having to adjust something.
This source of saying the unvaccinated are more likely to be in the hospital or hospitalized from Omicron, and it's again the article talks about how most people aren't getting treatment, and then though it's still early for firm predictions. So again, it's always. These news outlets, man, they just have this out all the time. They're always kind of like,
they're just saying,
but it's like,
we don't actually know, but we're going to tell you the scariest thing because that keeps you watching and we can sell more ads.
Yeah.
That's what they're telling you.
Yep. And it says here, but the lower proportion of severe cases is also happening because compared with previous variants, Omicron is infecting more people who have some prior immunity, whether through prior infection or vaccination. So this article is telling us, yes, vaccinated people are still getting this. And then the line that it was repeated, and we just have to take it as fact because New York Times said it. The vast majority of Omicron patients in ICUs are unvaccinated or have severely compromised immune systems, doctors said. Now, that is a very big or. If one person is unvaccinated and 100 people are severely compromised immune systems, you can technically, maybe two people unvaccinated and then like 98 people out of 100 had compromised immune systems. You can say the sentence, Omicron patients in the ICU are unvaccinated,
Yeah.
No source other than a doctor said it. And also, unvaccinated and severely compromised immune systems, one category, but unvaccinated people are hitting the ICU. Look at the chart. Come on.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I anytime I dig at these claims from the mainstream news outlets, it puts me on a little wild goose chase. But eventually, I just turn into the Ouroboros. I just chase my own tail. It's the same sources that are. There's no definitive data. It's just like, the New York Times said it. Says the New York Times, doctors in the New York Times.
No, they just source themselves. They don't source to science anymore.
No,
they just source to their own reporting.
It's very frustrating, though, because, I know people in my life that are...
By the way, when they source to their own stories and not to actual science, that's just money. That's profit. They're getting more ad revenue by saying, "Oh, you want a source? Oh, you think you're a responsible citizen? Fine, click here for a source. Ha, gotcha. Right. You're at another one of our articles, and we're going to get ad revenue for this."
Here's another sentence that echoes the same thing. The majority of people who are going to, this is the same article, going into ICUs are unvaccinated or are vaccinated people who are in high-risk groups, experts said. So, okay, when you say majority of people, you're not talking about just unvaccinated people. You're talking about unvaccinated and vaccinated with high risk. Right. So why isn't there any clarity about those numbers? How come we can't get any numbers based on that stuff? We just have to take it, experts said, doctors said.
The numbers don't matter, Gonz.
All right, whatever. Well, anyway, I get frustrated when I...
It's all about just feeling good that you made the right decision by getting vaccinated.
All right. Well, I get frustrated when I go down these rabbit trails and all I find is I dig and I finally find the hatch and I open it and I'm back in New York Times.
Yeah, they certainly don't make our job easy.
No.
That's why we get the big bucks. Okay. Why don't you take this next one too?
Sure.
You put this one together.
Yeah, this one. Okay, so this is apnews.com. Fact Focus. We're trying some new alliteration there with the fact check or, that kind of thing is gone stale. So Fact Focus. unfounded theory used to dismiss COVID measures. And of course, this is, well, let me just read it, and you guys know what it's about. The unfounded theory taking root online suggests millions of people have been, quote unquote, hypnotized into believing mainstream ideas and about COVID-19, including steps to combat it, such as testing and vaccination. In widely shared social media posts this week, efforts to combat the disease have been dismissed by just 3 words: mass formation psychosis.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, this is kind of the existence of this article is kind of playing into what you were talking about an episode or 2 ago.
Quote, I'm not a scientist, but I'm pretty sure healthy people spending hours in line to get a virus test is mass formation psychosis in action, reads one tweet that was liked.
I love it when their fact check is based on social media posts and not, the actual science behind something. We're fact checking this one Twitter user's
Hey, listen,
thing.
Basil, he had more than 22,000 likes. This is not just a tweet. This is, I don't know, but this is a sentiment that is being widely spread. Mm-hmm. The term gained attention after it was floated by Dr. Robert Malone. It's just floated.
Floated. He just
out there.
Floated the idea. He just floated the idea on the JRE podcast.
The Joe Rogan Experience December 31st podcast. Malone is a scientist who once researched mRNA technology, but is now a vocal skeptic of the COVID-19 vaccines that use it. But psychology experts say that the concept described by Malone is not supported by evidence and is similar to theories that have been long discredited. Here's a look at the facts.
You got some facts. Okay.
Claim. The concept of mass formation psychosis explains why millions of people believe in a mainstream COVID-19 narrative and trust the safety and efficacy of the vaccines. For once, I feel like they did somewhat of a good job of representing the claim. Because a lot of times what they do with this fact check type of thing is their claim is wrong, so they just, it's easy to tear down because they'll put up their own straw man. It's called a straw man argument where they fake the claim so they can tear it down. But in this case, I think in general they got it right, that mass formation psychosis explains the narrative.
Do you know what the opposite of straw man is, by the way?
What is it? I don't know. What is it called?
It's steel man.
Steel man. Interesting.
Steel man. Yeah. So that's the practice of, representing your opponent's argument in its strongest form.
Ah, interesting.
Rather than straw man, which is, representing your opponent's arguments in its weakest form, and able to, to make your argument better, you try to make theirs seem lame.
That makes sense.
But if you have integrity, you steel man the other person's argument.
Oh, I have heard that. And that makes more sense now. I was thinking steel man, like a person who steals. I was like, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah,
that makes more sense.
Steel like the metal.
In the context of the straw man. Okay, the facts here, according to AP. Malone highlighted the unfounded theory on a podcast hosted by comedian and commentator Joe Rogan.
That's true. That's what he is.
It's true, but they don't always bust out the comedian part unless they're trying to.
They forgot CIA operative.
Yeah.
Or asset, rather.
Asset, yeah. During the episode, Malone cast doubt on COVID-19 vaccine safety and claimed the mass psychosis has resulted in a, quote, third of the population basically being hypnotized into believing what Dr. Anthony Fauci, the nation's top infectious disease expert, and mainstream news outlets say. Malone went on to say that the phenomenon explained Nazi Germany, which, again, I know No Agenda did their whole thing on it, but I tend to agree somewhat with what John C. Dvorak has said, that Malone might be, a CIA asset.
Yeah. Well, Adam Curry's breakdown of it, I think, is the most reasonable. And actually, coincidentally, Adam Curry was on JRE
he was
today,
a couple days ago,
or something. Yeah. The problem with the mass formation psychosis. Now, we've been looking into the mass formation for a while,
we didn't use the clinical term though.
Yeah. But the real term is mass formation.
No,
the addition of the psychosis at the end was sort of a new thing, wasn't it?
I know, from what I understand, and this is from No Agenda episode a few episodes ago, it was mass formation psychosis, and then they took the psychosis off because it wasn't publicly
wasn't
friendly or something like that.
Psychosis or whatever.
I think the guy who wrote it took it off because it wasn't accurate, or there was something there. So, but the phrase. Mass formation psychosis did exist prior to mass formation, which was what the No Agenda show highlighted a year ago.
Got it. Okay.
So clinically, yes, the mass formation psychosis was a thing. Although, again, the critics, I guess, have said it's not real psychosis or whatever. So anyway, academia, it's all very fluid. There's nothing concrete ever. Okay, quote, when you have a society that has become decoupled from each other and has free-floating anxiety in a sense that things don't make sense, we can't understand it, and then their attention gets focused by a leader or a series of events on one small point, just like hypnosis. They literally become hypnotized and can be led anywhere, Malone said. He claims such people will not allow the narrative to be questioned, which is also interesting because, the part of what Malone does here on Joe Rogan is create a narrative, and we've mentioned this years ago. We've been talking about how when people's worldviews are shattered, it creates a vacuum, and people's minds are very susceptible to accepting worldviews that seem to have explanatory power. Mm-hmm. So we know that the population at large, even if they don't fully comprehend it or aren't fully aware of it, there is a common, a growing sense from people, rational people out there, that something is off. CDC can't be trusted. WHO can't be trusted. Media is a little, a lot of Pfizer advertising.
They're incentivized.
People are starting to see that there's a problem here with what they've been told. But when a lot of people, when they realize that and they internalize that, their worldviews get shattered. It's like, oh my gosh, I trusted these organizations all my life, and all of a sudden I can't trust them. I don't know who to trust. I don't know who to believe. And that's when it's so convenient to have a Dr. Robert Malone come in, talk on Joe Rogan, and create this alternative narrative, and that everyone is latched onto, But anyway, that's just me analyzing the analysis here. He claims such people will not allow the narrative to be questioned. Crediting a professor in Belgium, Malone also said in a December blog post that this mass hypnosis explains millions of people becoming captivated by the dominant narrative concerning the safety and effectiveness of the genetic vaccines. Psychology experts say there is no support for the psychosis theory described by Malone. Quote, to my knowledge, there's no evidence whatsoever for this concept, said J. Van Bavel, an assistant professor of psychology and neural science at New York University, who recently co-authored a book on group identities. He wrote a book, Basil. He must be trusted. Mm-hmm. Van Bavel, not Basil, but Bavel, said he had never encountered the phrase mass formation psychosis in his years of research, nor could he find it in any peer-reviewed literature. The concept has no academic credibility, Stephen Riker, a social psychology professor at the University of St. Andrews in the UK, wrote in an email to the Associated Press. The term also does not appear in the American Psychological Association's Dictionary of Psychology. Their whole argument is the phrase does not exist in our academic literature.
It's not in my book. I have this book here, and it's not in there.
Psychosis is a term that refers to conditions that involve some disconnect from reality. If we're going to really just play on that disconnect from reality, doesn't every human being have a little bit of psychosis?
Yeah.
The fallen nature of man, isn't that a form of psychosis?
Reality is hard to stay connected with sometimes.
Yep. According to a National Institute of Health estimate, an NIH estimate, about 3% of people experience some form of psychosis at some time in their lives. The rest of the time, they're fully objective and rooted in reality. Richard McNally, a professor of clinical psychology at Harvard University, wrote in an email that people who support COVID-19 vaccines and public health guidance are not delusional. Rather, they are, quote, fully responsive to the arguments and evidence adduced by the relevant scientific experts. And I guess that's where, they're basically, in so many words, saying they're just believing the appeal to authority. They're abiding by the appeal to authority. Health officials have found that COVID-19 vaccines are safe, yada, yada, yada. The description of mass formation psychosis offered by Malone resembles discredited concepts such as mob mentality. Mob mentality is a discredited concept?
That's weird, man. I don't know about these guys.
And group mind. I thought those were fairly established.
They're pretty established, yeah. I've read a book a long time ago, so I'm not going to be able to quote it or anything, but it's called The Madness of Crowds.
Ah, yes. Yeah, I'm familiar with the book. I've never read it. Yes.
Which is all about, crowd psychology, basically.
Yeah. So I don't know why they say that these other things are discredited. According to John Drury, a social psychologist at the University of Sussex in UK, who studies collective behavior, the ideas suggest that, quote, when people form part of a psychological crowd, when people form part of a psychological crowd, they lose their identities and their self-control. They become suggestible and primitive instinctive impulses predominate, he said in an email. Oh, like mob mentality, group mind, and mass psychosis, like that?
Yeah.
The notion has been discredited by decades of research on crowd behavior, Drury said. Quote, no respectable psychologist agrees with these ideas now, he said. Yeah, because they want tenure and PhDs and stuff. Like they have to comply to the established literature. Multiple experts told the AP that while there's evidence that groups can shape or influence one's behaviors, and that people can and do believe falsehoods that are put forward by the leader of a group, those concepts do not involve the masses experiencing psychosis or hypnosis. Don't worry, everybody. It's not psychosis or hypnosis, even though people's behaviors can be shaped by falsehoods being spit by leaders. Stephen J. Lynn, a psychology professor in Binghamton University in New York, said Malone's arguments that a group can, quote, literally become hypnotized and can be led anywhere is premised on a myth about hypnosis. Quote, his claims represent a serious misunderstanding of hypnosis and doubles down on the popular misconception that hypnosis somehow transforms people into mindless robots who think what the hypnotist wants them to think and do the hypnotist's bidding, Lynn said in an email.
Cool. Yeah, I thought the use of hypnosis or being hypnotized was also not a great term to use, because people have this idea of hypnosis as just what you said, like having lost the
self-control.
Yeah, right. This lost control. I mean, the words are hard to even parse here because it's not quite lost control, but you're in a state, you're in a trance, you're being controlled in a way that you have no, you're like a zombie type of thing.
It's like this. Oh, come on, Jingle. Really? You're not going to play on me? All right, hold on. Never mind.
Oh, no.
Soundboard, brand new soundboard, not working.
All right, we'll figure it out.
What I was trying to play, and I'll play it on the backup here because I can rely on the backup, right? Right? No?
Aha.
Oh, no, the backup is failing too? Oh, this is a disaster.
Okay. It sounds like the problem might be somewhere else.
No, here we go.
Your wish is my command, masters.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. Their whole argument is, we asked some psychologists and they said that it's not true, therefore
they didn't have it in their books.
True.
Yeah. Where the mass formation is less hypnosis in the way that the layman might think about it, and more of the forced narrative acceptance. It's just accepting the narrative. If the masses are all operating on a narrative and that narrative is crafted and false, they are. I mean, we would say they are under the hypnosis of that narrative, but hypnosis is not the right word. They've just fallen into the narrative trap.
I don't understand why you couldn't just say propaganda, because that's what it is. Propaganda defined as information, especially of a biased or misleading nature, used to promote or publicize a particular political cause or point of view. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if you break it down, everybody with an opinion is technically a form of propaganda. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think social studies in general, suggests that, crowds can be swayed. And if you are an institution that is financially and influentially powerful enough to broadcast your ideas through media, whether it's print or TV or YouTube or Twitter or whatever, you have tremendous influence on what people think and do. And the fact that people like AP are trying to say, oh, no, this one guy with his mass formation theory is crazy. It's wild. It's just unbelievable that people will go with it. That itself is mass formation psychosis in a way. Not to say that what Malone was peddling is 100% true, because even the guys at No Agenda were not too happy with the way he relayed the information.
And there's plenty of people who weren't happy. It's not just about the No Agenda guys.
I know. Yeah. But the bringing up the Nazis and stuff like that really does
is a trigger.
It's a trigger. It kills the argument. It kills the conversation. So it's definitely a spook move to do that. To change the conversation or end the conversation.
It's working. Is working. Now they have an opportunity for the quote unquote experts, to come say that they don't see mass formation psychosis in any of their textbooks.
Yeah.
All right. I got one more here for you if you're ready to move on.
I am, and I thought I had my jingler ready for it, but apparently, hold on. Let's see. I do have it. Here we go.
This is Rubber Ducky. What's your 1020? Over. Chuck you. We got us a convoy. Over.
The truckers are at it again, baby. That's right. We love our Canary Cry truckers here, and there's some more trucker news happening. This is coming from Reuters.com, and the headline is Canada resists pressure to drop vaccine mandate for cross-border truckers. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is pushing ahead with a vaccine mandate for international truckers, despite increasing pressure from critics who say it will exacerbate driver shortages and drive up the price of goods imported from the United States. It's because he wants to drive up the price of goods from the United States, Canadians. That's what he wants. Canada will require all truckers entering from the United States to show proof of vaccination starting on Saturday as part of its fight against COVID-19. That could force some 16,000 or 10% of cross-border drivers off the roads. The Canadian Trucking Alliance, CTA, estimates. The government estimates 5% of drivers will be impacted. Oh my gosh. According to the government source. The mandate is the first policy measure taken since the pandemic began that would limit cross-border trucking traffic. Trucks crossed the border freely when the border was closed for 20 months because they were considered essential to keep supply chains flowing. Quote, we don't anticipate significant disruptions or shortages for Canadians, the source says. The source. What?
Whoa.
Wow.
They're connecting with the all mind of the universe, the source.
Yeah, this is a good point, though. Why won't they name the government source? They say the government estimates 5% of drivers will be impacted, according to a government source. We don't anticipate significant disruptions or shortages for Canadians, the source said.
It's because
nobody wants to put their name on this. No agency wants to put their stamp of approval on that number.
It's because it's Satan himself, Basil. He can't reveal himself yet.
Oh, the source of evil. I see. Trudeau has championed a strict inoculation policy for civil servants and federally regulated workers, and the fast-spreading Omicron variant of the coronavirus appears to have strengthened its government's resolve to stick with the policy. Industry groups and opposition parties say it is a bad idea, especially at a time when the Bank of Canada is eyeing its first interest rate increase since October 2018. Even though the vast majority of Canadian truckers are vaccinated, those who are not are already starting to quit, said Stephen Laskowski, president and chief executive of the CTA, adding that the industry is already short some 18,000 drivers. More than 2/3 of the 650 billion Canadian dollars in goods traded annually between Canada and the United States travel on roads. Quote, Everyone has been talking about inflation, and this is just going to continue to fuel that, said Stephen Bamford, chief executive of Bamford Produce, an importer and exporter of fresh fruit and vegetables based in Ontario. The cost of bringing a truckload of fruit and vegetables from California and Arizona doubled during the pandemic due to the existing driver shortage, Bamford said. Fresh foods are sensitive to freight problems because they expire rapidly. And then it kind of goes on and on and on about the same stuff. But yeah, there you go. Truckers, cross-border truckers. This could be Canadian truckers and American truckers. They're coming for you.
Vaccination.
That's right. Anything else to say about that?
Nope.
Okay. Well, I think that means it's time to take a break.
Party time.
Put CanaryCry.Party into your browser and you will be taken to our LINKTREE, where you can find all the links to our media empire. You can subscribe to our email list. You can explore all the platforms where we currently live stream. You can connect with others. You can go to the Discord, CanaryCry.community, and other social media. And there's a big wiggly button at the top that says produce the show now. Click it. Produce the show.
Nailed it, Gonz.
Oh, yeah.
Great job. Okay. Well, that's right. Time to take a break.
Mm-hmm.
It's break time. Come on, take a break.
All right, folks. You may have noticed no advertisements on this show, no affiliate codes, no mail enhancement supplements, no paywalls, no nothing, folks. That's right. We are delightfully unmonetized, except for the value for value model. We decided that, you know what? We don't want to be underneath that corporate thumb. We don't want corporate interests to have any say in what we do or do not talk about on this show. And that's just what happens when you begin to open your doors to the wonders of advertising revenue and affiliate codes and things like that. Indeed, the world today has made it really easy for content creators like Gonz and I to get all hooked up, jacked into the advertising economic panopticon. But the problem is advertising's evil. And I do mean that. You know, what other industry is relying on stealing massive amounts of data, of invading your privacy via every device in your life, not for nothing, but to create a psychological profile of you that they can go ahead and sell to other companies. And that's not where it ends. Those companies then use that psychological profile in order to subtly yet manipulatively advertise to you. They know what you want. They know what you like. They know what you don't like. They know when you're most susceptible to the mind-altering messages that will, what? Well, they'll cause you to spend money when you don't want to spend money. They'll make you think that the next gadget or Googa is the one thing you finally found it. The next Googa that will bring happiness and contentment and fulfillment to this life. Oh, the pleasures of shopping and responding to an advertisement. We've been programmed our whole lives to think that advertising is normal and it's just a part of life. And indeed, many of us are happy to sit through, 30 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes. Heck, some podcasts, they do like 10-minute advertising segments. Yes, our breaks are long also, but at least our breaks are not filled with the psychological manipulation and the guilt, the problem of the fact that your podcasters, they are taking corporate money to shill for corporations. Well, not here, folks. No. In fact, we take no corporate money whatsoever. No YouTube partnerships, no Twitch affiliates, nothing like that. We are entirely produced by our producers through the value for value model, which is simple. We create value. We do it 3 times a week. And if you get any value out of what we do, you have the opportunity or the responsibility to put some value back in. And that can take many forms, but many people choose to keep the show running by helping out financially. And we like to thank them here because, they're producers, just like any other production in the world. If you pay to have a piece of media produced, you are a producer. You can put it on your resume, put it on your CV, put it on your LinkedIn. It's a real deal. And if anybody asks you about it, give them our email. We will vouch for you. And we had a couple 11th hour producers come in, which really saved the day, and I can't wait to thank them, Gonz. The first way to produce a show is you can head over to patreon.com/CCNT. But the other way, the favored way, is you can head on over to CanaryCry.Radio.com/support. CanaryCry.Radio.com/support. That's right. CanaryCry.Radio.com/support is a wonderful place. You can support the show with your cryptocurrency. If you're a cool cryptocurrency person, we have all our public wallets there. But you can also sign up to support the show on a monthly basis. If you want to commit to keeping the show going, it's easy. Set it and forget it, and you are producing the show, keeping the lights on over here. We appreciate that very much, because on certain times of the year when the producership is low, it's those monthly producers that lay down a firm foundation to help us and let us keep doing the show, and we appreciate that very much. But if commitment is not your thing, we get it. You can make a one-time producership in any amount. And Gonz, who do we have coming in?
All right, we're going to start things off with today's executive producer for episode 431. And I guess I can say the whole name here.
Whole name is good.
Jimbo Armoire? Or Armor?
I don't know. I thought it was armor, but I liked how you said it.
How do you spell armoire?
I think it's armor. I think it's armoire has an I.
Okay.
So I think this is armor.
Is there T in there too?
Probably.
Those words, man.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Thank you, executive producer Jimbo Armor.
Where'd you find this?
That's right. Jimbo, thank you very much, was one of our 11th hour producers, came in during the show, heard the call, and made it happen. We appreciate that very much, Jimbo. And Jimbo came in with $222 and 22 cents. Ooh. A bunch of, I get on No Agenda, they call that a row of ducks. That's a big row of ducks. Plus fees. So we helped cover the fees too, $229.17 in total. And he sent a note here. I guess it's my turn. Please do cleanse me of my severe moochiness, fellers. Woo! You've been demooched, Jimbo. That makes it even more special what he's doing here. That's a good way to do it, folks. If you're, you do what you want, but Jimbo coming in, demooching and executive producing on the same show. That's the right way to do it. Thank you, Jimbo. His note continues. This is long overdue. I felt as though Bazzy was calling me out today.
Bazzy.
Bazzy. I like that.
I like that. I might just start calling you Bazzy.
That'll be my my hip hop name, DJ Bazzy. Thanks for the years of good stuff. Happy New Year. Carry on, Jimbo Armor. Thank you very much, Jimbo.
Thank you, Jimbo.
Executive producer Jimbo Armor, and a lot of good things in there. Like I said, demooched and executive produced on the same episode. Is incredible. He says this is long overdue and references years of good stuff. So he's been listening for years. That's awesome. Glad you've been listening. And you know what? Sometimes it takes years for people to come in and produce the show, and that's okay. Like I always say, not every listener has to produce every show, but as long as people know someday, you'll want to put some value back in, that keeps the show going. Appreciate it, Jimbo.
Thank you, Jimbo. Next up, we have Dame Lynn, Lady of the Lakes.
Also a reliable 11th hour producer. Thank you very much. Dame Lynn, Lady of the Lakes at the Canary Cry Roundtable, comes with 101.11 plus fees, comes out to $104 .44. Thank you very much, Dame Lynn, Lady of the Lakes. Note here, need you guys, love and shalom always, Dame Lynn, Lady of the Lakes. Well, thank you very much, Associate Executive Producer, Dame Lynn, Lady of the Lakes.
Yes, you are executive associate producer for this episode. Enjoy it while it lasts.
Okay, Gonz, this is where we would usually talk about the calendar producers,
right.
But the calendar campaign is is concluded since January 1st. You think this would be a good time to introduce our next fun thing?
I figured you were going to.
I think so. Let's do it. So, Gonz, over there on the video, go ahead, pull up CanaryCry.Supply.com.
Canary
Dun, dun, dun. You're not there. You got to go CanaryCry.Supply.com. That's right. We're very excited about this. I'm very excited about this, Gonz. Are you very excited about this?
And now I am.
Now he is. So, yes, for 2022, one of the fun things we are doing is Canary Cry Supply Drop. It's going to be sick. Now, here's the thing. Actually, I should pull up the website, too, because there's some details on there I want to share. Canary Cry Supply Drop. If you're listening, you can go there, too, if you want to know what we're talking about. Now, here's the thing, folks. Of course, you know that we are in the value for value model. We're not into advertising. We're not into premium memberships or paywalls or selling merchandise. And this is all, I give all this in a nice rundown at CanaryCry.Supply.com. But that's not what we do for a lot of reasons. I talk about the problems with advertising all the time, but also, there's other sort of business models that podcasts and other media properties like to employ: bonus episodes, paywalls, premium memberships, and of course merchandise, the much beloved merchandise. And our philosophy has always been, we just don't want to get mixed up in the whole business model thing. Then we're focusing on the money and we're not focusing on the show. And the show is the thing. The show is the product, and that's our most important mission. Deconstructing corporate media, the analysis, all while, keeping a biblical perspective and focusing on Jesus, that kind of stuff. And if we got into like this whole businessy thing, that's just not what we want to do. Didn't feel right. Wouldn't work for us, and our temperaments and our abilities and our time. But we have listened and we have heard from our producers over the years that having, physical items, merchandise, some people call it merchandise, but, tokens of the show, whether it be cups or hats or whatever, or mugs, would mean a lot to people. And it's not like we don't want people to have cool stuff. And so here's what we're going to do. We are running a program very similar to the Canary Cry calendar thing, because the way we look at it, if we're sending you something, it's as a thank you for producing the show. We're not selling you anything. We're not providing products or services or anything. No. If we're sending you something, it's a thank you because we love you and we're thankful that you believe in the show and you want to keep the show going and you produce the show on the show's merits. Now, that being said, we loved the way the calendar producership worked out so well, sending those out, that we are expanding that idea for this year. We're going to see how it goes. It's an experimental test program, but it's and we call it Canary Cry Supply Drop, which I think is dope. It's a dope name. All you cool kids, I guess they would call it lit nowadays. And it works like this. It's very simple, much like the calendar, where if you're signing up and committing to helping us out at a certain amount, we're just going to send you the Canary Cry calendar. In this case of the supply drop, this is for recurring monthly producers who are producing the show in the amount of $33.33 a month. Yeah, we're gonna really trigger the Mason hunters here. But it just felt right. It just felt right. So here's the deal: if you go to CanaryCry.Supply.com, you really should go to CanaryCry.Supply.com, please. For administrative reasons, if you sign up for this in other places, we can make it work, but it's extra work to do that. But if you sign up at CanaryCry.Supply.com for $33 a month to produce the show, we are going to put you on a list, a very special list. And this list, the people on this list will receive one Canary Cry supply drop per quarter. So that's 4 supply drops a year. It'll be February, whatever the quarters are. I forget what the quarters are. It's
January,
like
February, March,
May,
April,
June, July.
June, July, August, September, October, November, December.
There you go.
Yeah, you divide 12 by 4, you get 3. Right. There you go.
So once a quarter, we're going to be sending out Canary Cry supply drops for producers who are supporting the show in $33 a month or more. So it can be more. And here's the thing. A lot of people are being grandfathered into this. So there are, a number of people who are signed up to support the show for $33 a month. You will automatically be put on the list, so you don't have to do anything. Additionally, if you signed up for the Canary Cry calendar producership and maintained your account through December 31st, you are already also automatically enrolled in the supply drop. So there's a lot of people who are just automatically going to be getting the supply drop, which I thought was the right thing to do. I think I like that because that's what this is about. It's about thanking the producers who are committing to keeping the show going.
Cool.
So if you're a Canary Cry calendar producer, or if you're already signed up for $33 or more a month, you are automatically signed up, and we'll be reaching out for your address if we don't have it. And yeah, it's sweet. I'm stoked. And the items, the thank you gifts, there's some pictures of thank you gifts on the website. These are not extant objects.
I was going to say, did you dox yourself here? Is this we have a model? Did you model for the thing?
I found a service that would just do product mock-ups for us to add some flavor to the page. But yes, you can see some beautiful stock models modeling Canary Cry objects. There's this man here who's admiring one of the Canary Cry movie posters on a brick wall.
Is there a reason why there's a watermark on all these? Is it because you used some free version?
Yeah, because I used a free thing. I didn't want to pay money for these mock-ups. No,
okay, I'm just making sure. All right, yeah. No, there's like Allie's drawing on a pillow.
Yeah, we've got cool Gonz. Stuff. We've got Gonz riding his horse in his Jinko jeans on a pillow.
Yeah,
and these items are going to be cool. We have producers of the show putting the items together. Again, we have a fairly tight control of the manufacturing process. We are, as much as we can, manufacturing everything in the United States in small batches.
America.
With from cool manufacturers. Producers are creating it. The artists, all the art will be sourced by Canary Cry artists. There'll be cool, kind of generic logo stuff, but also deep cuts and inside jokes.
What about people from other countries?
Yes, thank you, Gonz, for keeping me on the thing. So here's the problem, okay? And this is all laid out there at CanaryCry.Supply.com. Australian producers, we're so sorry. We can't ship anything to you. That is still problematic. Shipping things to Australia at this exact moment is impossible. So Australian producers, we are working on an option for you that will be digital goods, some digital supply drops. And when we have that ready, we will let you know. Other non-U.S. residents, such as Canada and our European people, you are welcome to sign up as well. However, there may be additional shipping costs that we will just handle on a case-by-case basis. But just that's the world today, and shipping out of country is insane. But We will handle that. You just send us an email. We'll figure it out. Other than that, I mean, that's kind of the deal. Am I forgetting anything? Just to review, so. If you are a producer of the show, a recurring producer of 3333 to keep the show going, we'll be sending you 4 Canary Cry supply drops this year, once a quarter. An extra bonus. Here's a fun bonus. If you sign up for the 3333 this first quarter, which means before the cutoff date in early February, because we do need to do a cutoff date for manufacturing and shipping. But if you sign up soon in this first couple months, we are going to be sending you a free Canary Cry calendar as well. So not only are you signed up for the supply drop, but if you missed the 2022 calendar, we will throw that in as an extra gift because we just love giving people those calendars. They're just the coolest things. So yeah, if you missed the calendar campaign in December and November, and you want a calendar, this is a great way to do it. We'll sign up early. We'll send you a calendar as well, in addition to the supply drops.
Boom shakalaka!
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited. I think I'm excited to kind of put some creative, work into making fun stuff, and I'm hoping to really make the true Canarians happy with these supply drops. We're doing buttons and stickers and stuff like that on one hand, which will be not just logos and regular stuff, but inside jokes and exclusive art created by artists and fun stuff like that. All the way to apparel. Maybe we're looking at some hats. Maybe there's been talk about things like challenge coins, which would be super fun for meetups and stuff. Showing up to meetups with your challenge coins would be sick. So we're really hoping to have fun with this, with these gifts. And so if you're interested and you want to support the show, keep us going in 2022, head to CanaryCrySupplyDrop.com and sign up. It's going to be fun.
All right.
Okay. I think that's the long pitch. I'm going to try to shorten that pitch for future episodes. But that's the long pitch, just so everybody understands.
Very cool. Well, get on it, folks. And yeah, you said some digital goods.
Denta Bean says Pogs. Ooh. If we take all the the New World Order Fantasy League characters and put their faces on Pogs.
Oh my gosh.
The millennials will lose their minds.
Well, we could have a tournament. Oh my gosh.
Pog tournament. Canary Cry Pog tournament.
Gotta get that. I gotta start working that angle, work that edge. With my slammer. Bust out my slammer.
That's right. With the Basil slammer. Gonz slammer.
The googly eye slammer. It's just a googly eye.
It's one big googly eye.
Oh my God.
Okay. All right, let's continue and thank the rest of our producers.
All right, so these are producers who came in for episode 341. I'm sorry, 431.
Whoa.
Yeah. 100 off there. Okay, first up here, Arian P.
Arian P. Thank you very much. Arian P came in for a recurring producership of $20. Thank you very much, Arian.
Just seeing if this thing works here. Because
it works. It is a little louder than usual.
Is it? All of it is louder? Okay, let me see here.
That was on the board. That was on the buttons.
Yeah, I did press the bell a few times and it didn't ring. So if there's a random bell, that's why.
It's in the hopper.
It's queued up in the mystical no man's land in the digital verse. Okay. Thank you, Arian P. Next up, we have Heather Surus.
That's right. Heather Surus is on a streak.
Woo! She's on a streak.
Women rule!
Loud?
It's not too loud for me. It is louder than usual, but it's actually a great volume for me. I don't know what it's like out there in TV land.
All right, I'm pulling it down just a little bit.
Just a tiny bit. Okay.
Help people out.
Heather Surus comes in for 44 episodes in a row, coming in with 1333. Ooh, Illuminatus.
Illuminatus. Oh, sorry. I have it all messed up here. Here we go. Illuminatus.
Illuminatus!
Got it.
A note. Hey, Bands and Gozzle. Happy Monday from the Hillcrest East Side.
Scrolling through. Monday
Gary,
button.
What day is it? Monday.
gonna be rough.
Hope everyone had a good weekend. Can we get 3 random jingles? Much love, Heather Sarus.
We're taking things that are genetically modified organisms and we're injecting them in little kids' arms. We just shoot them right into the vein, right into the vein, and right into the vein.
I don't understand.
The science one was funny. Thank you very much, Heather Sarus.
There we go. All right. The response time I'm not too happy about with this thing. We got to figure that out.
Yeah, we'll do some troubleshooting. I think there's a way to speed it up. Maybe we got to stick it in a USB 3 port or something.
Maybe a dedicated thing for just the database for this or something. All right. Next up, we have William F.
William F. is on a streak. 8 episodes in a row, coming in with 1111 plus fees and a note. Hey, guys. What a shame about Focus on the Family's choice to mandate the jab. I guess all the good citizens of Odyssey were worried about infecting old Mr. Whitaker with a cold. Hope they like Colonel Sanchez's Soylent Chicken. Love you guys. Thank you very much, William F.
1111.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that.
All right. Next up, we have Sir Salmon's Night of the Fishes.
Sir Salmon's is on a streak.
Yep.
Supporting the show 12 episodes in a row, which means Sir Salmon's might as well be walking on the sun.
Might as well be walking on the sun.
Coming in with 1111.
Are you going to read his note?
Oh, I was going to wait for the 1111 jingle.
Oh, the 1111. Sorry.
The one time I ever remember.
I know. Yeah.
His note says, "It's Monday, my broskies."
Okay,
yeah.
We're not going to play it.
Do it.
The one time I actually did.
I know. I
we're
was going to just plow through for you.
We're not on rhythm. Okay, so read it again.
Okay. It's Monday, my broskies.
Gary, what day is it? Monday. Monday.
We did it.
There we go. We're back on track, folks. If what Basil said last show was true, then there's a second Salmons abroad on the No Agenda show. Oh. It isn't me. Oh, finally a worthy opponent. Our battle will be legendary. Many blessings from the fishes. Yes, many blessings back. And yes, we'll have to have a duel between the No Agenda Sir Salmons and the Canary Cry Sir Salmons. Night of the Fishes.
There you go. All right. Next up here we have Sarah L.
Sarah L. comes in with 1027. Thank you very much, Sarah L.
Thank you, Sarah L. Next up,
we have real quick double check something on Sarah L.
Okay.
I'm going to see if that number had any other number. No, it didn't. Okay. Thank you for the 1027.
Thank you, Sarah L. Next up, we have JC.
JC's on a streak.
Oh, hold on. No, yeah, that's right.
Right. He's 56 episodes in a row, so close to upgrading to the banjo jingle. JC comes in with 1001.
1001.
Amen. Hope you both are doing well on this fine Monday. Preparations for the Super Southeast Mega Meetup are underway.
All right.
Gonna be fun. Thanks, JC.
Coming up on the 22nd, I believe. Mm-hmm. All right. Next up, we have Palmer B.
Palmer B is a woman that we love.
She's on a streak.
And is on a streak, yeah.
Yeah, she's on a streak.
Women rule.
10 episodes in a row. 831. That's sevens and fees. Tweet, hungry boys.
Okay.
Thank you, Palmer B. Yeah, we're gonna have to put that on a I don't know, a plate or something for the supply drop. That's the other fun thing about the supply drop is it gives us an outlet for some silly merch that we come up with, some silly objects we come up with on the show, you know, because we have funny ideas, but we're not gonna like pay to have a batch of tweet hungry boy shirts and just sit and try to sell them. You know, in this case, we can make a tweet hungry boy bib. Ooh, maybe a bib.
Oh, a bib, yeah.
And just put it in a box and send it to a bunch of producers.
Great. Yeah. Grown men and women wearing bibs.
This is a much better use of our time, Gonz. The supply drop is seriously going to be fun. All right. Who's next?
We're looking for that exit strategy breakthrough into the mainstream, like Snuggies or something. So we come up with a product and all of a sudden infomercials, we're getting knocks on the door.
Are you spilling potato chips on your couch all the time? Well, get the tweet hungry boy bib. A real man's bib.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you, Palmer B. Next up, we have Sean D.
Thank you very much. Sean D comes in with $8.88. 888. Wow, that doesn't happen very often.
No.
Thank you, Sean. Comes in. Oh, and a note here. There are currently no studies to disprove that you guys are the absolute best source of level-headed news and analysis. That's science, folks. You can take that to Dr. Fauci, and he cannot argue with you. Prayers to y'all in your lives, both in and out of the show. God bless. Look up. Thank you very much, Sean D.
Thank you, Sean D. Appreciate it. Good to see you. Next up, Sir Scott, Knight of Truth.
There he is, Sir Scott. You know he's on a streak.
Tweakers.
Oh, yeah!
Man, thank you so much.
And he's been supporting the show 93 episodes in a row, pocket full of sevens, and a note. We had a great time at the North Idaho meetup yesterday.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. We did not receive a report. I would love to receive a report from this meetup. I don't even know how many people showed up, what the deal was. I'm sure it was fun. Did you make cutouts of our heads? Come on now. We had a great time at the North Idaho meetup yesterday. So cool how God brings people from different areas of life all together. Looking forward to the next one. Thank you very much, Sir Scott, Knight of Truth.
All right. Yeah, well, that's good that it was kind of a report right there from Sir Scott.
Sounds like it was good. Yeah, sounds great.
Perfect. All right. Yeah, we would like audio if audio was recorded of everybody there saying hi or something like that. So, but those aren't necessary exactly. But
they're beloved.
We
yes,
like them.
But not necessary.
Thank you very
who's
much,
next?
Sir Scott. Next up, we have Morv.
Morv is on a streak. 40 episodes in a row. Morv, great job coming in with a pocket full of sevens. I did not receive a note from Morv.
Thank you very much, Morv. Next up,
that dice. That's like a dice roll.
Well, there's one coin, and then there's a couple coins.
I think that's dice.
It was labeled,
that's okay.
It was labeled coin.
Oh well,
from
the labels
people.
Don't lie. All right.
I'll find a better one for you.
No,
Basil.
it's okay. I don't mean to criticize your.
It's not me. I'm just pulling stuff from a library. Okay. Next up, Beast System Revealed.
Beast System Revealed. Wow. Thank you very much. Beast System Revealed comes in with a pocket full of sevens. Says, not sure how this shows exactly as far as who this is from. Oh, but this is Travis. Beast System Revealed. Okay. Really appreciate. Got scared for a second. Really appreciate your perseverance in Christ. Keep going. Thank you very much, Travis, aka Beast System Revealed.
Thank you very much.
That is it. Yeah, sorry. That concludes our producers who have come in the amount of 777 or more, which entitles them to have a note read on the show. But we've got a few more producers here to thank who are under that amount. Starting off with Runk Smash, who is on a streak. 54 episodes in a row. Thank you very much, Runk Smash. And he came in with 33.33 Dogecoin.
Is this a crypto? Do I look like I know what a crypto is?
And a quick correction. He is on a 55 episode streak.
You know what's funny? I think our most consistent crypto producership has come in the form of Doge from Runk Smash.
Yeah.
Just goes to show, man.
It's the consistency award for sure.
Well, and out of all the currencies the cryptocurrencies out there, the meme coin becomes the medium of exchange of choice.
That's what it was made for.
Apparently.
Thank you, Runk Smash. Next up, and we have your microfiction later on.
Yep.
Next up, we have Sir Casey the Shield Knight, who's on a streak.
Oh, yeah! Thank you so much.
103 episodes in a row, coming in with a pocket full of threes. Thank you, Sir Casey. Next up, we have Child of God on a streak. 36 episodes in a row, threes and fees. Thank you, Child of God. Next, we have Doctor Who Dundad on a streak. 40 episodes in a row. You know, that short streak jingle is a little cut off on the front end. Just putting it out there. We'll put that on the bottom of the priority list.
I actually edited that to have it. Does it sound too cut off?
A little bit on the front. Comes in a little too hard on the streak. For me, maybe not for anybody else. But thank you very much, Doctor Who Dundat, threes and fees. Next up, we have producer Jackie Yu on a streak.
Yeah, she's on a streak.
Women rule!
12 episodes in a row, which means Jackie Yu's walking on the sun, baby.
Might as well be walking on the sun.
Threes and fees. Next up, we have producer Veronica D on a streak.
Yeah, she's on a streak.
Women rule!
69 episodes in a row. Funny number, Veronica. Thank you very much. And that brings us to, last but not least, producer Gail M, who's on a streak.
Yeah, she's on a streak.
Women rule!
Also 69 episodes in a row and a pocket full of threes. Thank you, Gail M. And just for kicks, I will do a quick refresh to make sure if anybody just limboed right under the limit there. Nope, that is it. Thank you to all of our financial producers of this episode of Canary Cry News Talk, episode 431. We couldn't do without you. And thank you for your patronage.
Shut up and take my money.
Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage.
Yes, it's wake-up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
Hey, yo.
It's Latin for many.
Tick.
Now suck your blood. Now suck
Politics.
your blood.
I'll take this one real quick, especially because it's quite long and it doesn't need to be. This is coming from Politico, mirrored over on Yahoo, and this is an opinion piece by Jeff Greenfield, and the headline is "How a Simple Twist of Fate Could End Democrats' Control of the Senate."
Oh, no, we can't have that.
A simple twist of fate.
What happened?
Well, this headline caught my eye because I have been reading article after article after article written by Democrats about how Republicans are scheming and strategizing and preparing a civil war and also manipulating the electoral system and filibustering and using every sleight of hand trick they possibly can conjure in order to steal our democracy. And this headline was like, it's just a simple twist of fate. I just thought it was incredibly honest about like just how precarious a situation the Democrats are in, whether or not there's like diabolical scheming on the Republicans' end. You know, it doesn't need some sort of master evil white supremacist plan.
That is the right-left paradigm. You got to keep the game going.
Exactly.
As long as one group is accusing the other group and pointing
the
fingers,
enemy. You got to build up your enemy in order to, get the support you need. And this was just delicious. How a simple twist of fate, just a whoopsie daisies, and the Democrats could lose control. So I'll just give you the meat here. We'll get into it. The list of what threatens to end the Democrats' control of the Senate is familiar. History says the White House's party usually loses seats in midterms. The president's low approval approval ratings in battleground states, even lower than his weak national ratings, portend trouble. Voters now say they prefer Republican control of Congress, and in several states, Republicans have made it harder to vote and are placing partisans in control of vote counting. All of those threaten to put the GOP in charge of the Senate after the 2022 election, ending the Democratic majority after only 2 years. But because of the fragility of that majority, even now, a 50-50 tie, broken only by Kamala Harris's deciding vote as VP, the end of Democratic control could also come earlier, much earlier.
Dun, dun. So scary.
I know. For one, the tension between West Virginia's Joe Manchin and the more progressive elements of his party carries with it the possibility of his defection from the ranks. Even as he dismisses such a move, those with long memories can recall what happened in an evenly divided Senate in 2001.
When many people that might be listening were never born or before they were born.
Sure, yeah. I'm going to skip that. Basically, some guy changed parties, and that changed it. But there's another possibility that should also have the Democrats reaching for the Maylocks. A random act of fate could turn the Senate over to the Republicans, not next January, but next summer, or next month, or next week. An illness or death could well trigger a political earthquake by almost instantly switching control of the nation's top legislative body. States have a range of laws about replacing a departed senator, but the large majority, 37 states, call on the governor to pick a successor. Of those, only 7 require the governor to pick someone in the same party. So there are 30 states where the governor can pick whatever new senator he or she wants. What that adds up to in practical terms is that in 9 states, as of January 15th, a Republican governor has the authority to replace either 1 or 2 Democratic senators. If a single Democratic senator in any of those states had to leave office, the Republican governor of that state could appoint a GOP replacement. That would immediately give the party a 51-49 Senate majority. When Glenn Youngkin becomes Virginia's governor later this month, he will join a group of GOP governors from states with 2 Democratic senators: Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Maryland, Georgia, and Arizona. 2 other states, Ohio and Montana, have 1 blah, 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 blah. Then it kind of breaks down the individual states that are at risk here. But the long and short of it is, hey, just one little slip in the shower, and suddenly the Republicans take control, even without any midterm elections. And it just was a beautiful representation of just how, balanced everything is right now, and how precarious that balance is for either party. This is written from the perspective of the Democrat Party, but we're 50-50, and notice how only 15 of the 37 states that could, that they suspect would replace a fallen senator with a Republican. That means there's 21 other ones that would do it with a Democrat. And so, it's not often that the media gets something right, and that is that the balance of power is decidedly precarious, moving into 2022. So I just think that's very interesting to keep in mind. I think it was, my conspiracy therapist brain is thinking, oh man, I hope no Manchurian candidates are triggered by some sort of code word in this article that is sort of prophesying a possible death of a senator. But with how many celebrities and important people have passed so far in 2022, it is not outside the range of possibility.
I find this incredibly tiresome.
What?
And just politics.
Yeah.
But I will say
I mean, a lot of people consider it pretty important. I mean,
know.
You've got a bunch of important things on the docket. If nothing else, you've got the mandates, vaccine mandates, mask mandates. We have the Supreme Court signaling, hey, these mandates are not up to the president, Mr. President. You cannot do this, but also we cannot do this as the Supreme Court. This is a congressional decision, these mandates. And so, however the dice roll out or whatever the selection or election process takes place in 2022, this could have long-term effects for the ongoing, medical tyranny of the mandates. It's a fairly important thing what happens in the next year.
I'm just wondering when I don't know, these things take so long to change, but there's Andrew Yang's third party. You know how he left the Democrat Party? He announced the name of his new party. It's called Forward Party. And, who knows? It'll probably not going to gain too much traction. But at what point does a third party come in to sort of change things up? At what point do the American people, sort of move away from the right-left paradigm? It's so ingrained. Do you think it will ever happen? Do you think it could happen?
I don't think it matters. I think that's what this opinion shows me is no, I don't think it will happen. It's too ingrained. It would take a really traumatic uprising, political and otherwise, to get out of the two-party system. No, I mean, if the conversation is about a third party, I don't think it'll be anything that, I don't know, world changing, especially from Andrew Yang, at least not soon. Who knows when the whole government is put on some sort of DAO and,
I mean, that's another, it's just
AI nonsense takes control. Who knows what'll happen? But as far as human beings running the American government, I doubt we can see any change. Yeah.
All right. Well, we used to not do politics. I just, I understand this is the importance of it in terms of like how things are going to play out with some of the things you mentioned. But I found myself glazed over as you talked about the details. I was like, wow, I really don't care that much about the divide or the thing here.
Well, that's why there's kind of two of us.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, I do think that obviously there's consequences to what party has majority in our government. So yeah, in that regard.
Yeah, I would say now more than ever, very serious and immediate real world consequences.
Repercussions, yeah.
That's why I am more involved now than I ever have been. Because this lays it out very simply. If Bernie slips in the shower, because he's the Vermont, Vermont has a GOP governor that could put in a GOP guy or girl. All it takes is a senator to slip in the shower, and then boom, we're that much closer to no mandates. If indeed the power structure on the GOP side decide that it is, beneficial for them to turn off the mandates, which who knows, they could flip on that at any moment.
Right. All right. Well, I'm just wondering how politics will play out when everybody is jacked into the metaverse and, governance just completely changes. And the road to get there starts with a little bit of mind control, as we know. Oh, come on, Jingle. Really? You're not going to play? I pressed the button. My little GIF is moving and... Seriously? All right. Well, let me look for it on the backup board here.
No. It was working so well before the show, too.
Yeah. This is why I was a little more skeptical about the whole thing.
Well, don't write it off yet.
I'm not writing it off. I'm just a little disappointed that, if it sits idle for a while and you press a button, it doesn't work.
I hear you.
Mind control weapons.
There we go. Less climactic there. But this, I just want to take note of this Bloomberg article. Worldwide dementia patients set to triple by 2050, study says.
What?
Yeah. Dementia will ravage the minds of 153 million people globally by 2050, about 3 times more than in 2019, according to a study that shows the rising stakes for public health policy, along with successful therapies from drug makers. You know, it's just such a...
You mean successful? I don't get it. Successful therapies will end in more dementia?
Yes. We need more money, is what they're saying. The tripling of...
Is this vaccine related?
I don't think so, but, well, maybe. Not in this article, but... the tripling of cases of cognitive illness that include memory-robbing Alzheimer's disease is tied to national trends in risk factors, including obesity, diabetes, low education, and smoking, according to the Global Burden of Disease Study. Oh, so co-morbidities.
Low education is a comorbidity.
Apparently. Published Thursday in the Lancet Public Health Journal, the analysis looked at 195 of the world's countries and territories. Governments and public health officials are looking to design targeted policy to tackle the risk of debilitating dementia, the 7th leading cause of death worldwide. Drug makers are also trying to design therapies to take on the Alzheimer's threat, such as Biogen Inc., Duhelm, which has just seen minimal uptake since the approval in June. So anyway, the point being that, yes, they're predicting a tripling of dementia by 2050. And this is very convenient because in the last episode, we showed the WNDU.com article, Medical Moment, Artificial Intelligence Prevents Dementia. Remember the light electrical brain therapy that can guide the behavior.
The AI dementia.
Yeah, with the electrical current that can guide your neurons to behave more properly as you start having declines and stuff like that. And of course, the conversation about Elon Musk's Neuralink. You know, one of the things that Neuralink promised, this is an article from Reuters, August 28th, 2020. The headline, Musk's Neuralink venture promises to reveal a working brain-computer device. And in it, it says that that Neuralink aims to implant wireless brain-computer interfaces that include thousands of electrodes in the most complex human organ to help cure neurological conditions like Alzheimer's, dementia, and spinal cord injuries, and ultimately fuse humanity with artificial intelligence. I don't know. It's just the problem, reaction, solution package of those. All these headlines kind of put together about, hey, we're going to triple in dementia. Hey, we have AI to help with dementia. Hey, we have a Neuralink to fix dementia. It just seems very convenient and in your face if you know what you're looking for. You know, so I always hark back to, you know, you're talking to your normie friends or family, and they're always kind of, I've run into this a lot in the past. I don't know how the temperament is nowadays, but a lot of fellow believers, brothers and sisters in Christ, and elders and stuff that I've talked to regarding, if I bring up the topic of transhumanism, a lot of them will either dismiss it or just kind of be like, it's not, you know, I don't see how there's any relevance biblically. How does it affect your life and all this kind of stuff? That's how it was 5-10 years ago. I don't know how it is now. I haven't had too many conversations like that, but I'm assuming that there's a little bit more openness about the realities of this. And these headlines are a good example. If you just connect the dots here about worldwide dementia getting worse and what's causing that dementia. What do you think, Basil?
I have no idea.
Why is there a tripling of dementia?
There's all sorts of things. I was just made aware that there are certain like sleep aids or Tylenol PM type of things, NyQuil, that kind of stuff. The sort of drowsy component of those is pretty directly connected to Alzheimer's or dementia or something. So I think it's a mixture between pharma, probably plastic in our food chain. Yeah. I mean, just everything.
Everything. Yep. There's a little segment of the article called Apocalyptic Projections. North Africa and the Middle East and Eastern Sub-Saharan Africa are forecast to see the biggest surge in dementia, an estimated 4-fold increase In contrast, the study saw lower increases in wealthier countries in the Asia-Pacific region and Western Europe. Interesting that they're targeting parts of Africa and the Middle East. Africa especially is fascinating, given the technological creeping in that is taking place there right now with the new infrastructure, part of the Great Reset, and bringing Africa to a more modern state. To have a whole bunch of people in that region risk of getting dementia, very convenient to have all these cutting edge technologies also being rolled out and shipped out in that same region, so
yeah,
kind of fascinating.
They tend to be sort of not immune in the classical sense, but they tend to suffer less from those sort of weird developed country specific issues.
And the irony here is it's the developed world who are assessing it, saying like, oh yeah, the dementia's way up, but not for us. So it's kind of like, okay, well, yeah, maybe what you classify as dementia is a little different, but
well,
especially in
good
culture.
Thing Elon Musk and whoever else is doing. Good thing the robots are coming to solve our dementia problem.
Yeah. So to tie it in, I know people get tired of me talking about it, but I think it's relevant here. I'm going to take you on a little journey to our main article about the metaverse, which has to do with PHARMEKEIA.
Welcome to the PHARMEKEIA.
And to kick things off, have you did you see this? This is about a month old, this footage from Project Tokyo by NVIDIA. Have you seen this? Okay, so NVIDIA, the company that you know about NVIDIA, they're one of the biggest
they make GPUs and stuff like that. One
of the biggest companies in that regard. Their logo is a spiraling all-seeing eye. And their founder and CEO, turned himself into an avatar. And so NVIDIA is creating their little metaverse. It's called the Omniverse, creative. Sure. And there's this example is of an Omniverse avatar for Project Tokyo. Basically what this is the CEO of NVIDIA as an AI 3D character avatar. And these people ask questions. To me, it looks very scripted. Like the whole thing looks scripted. Allegedly, it's kind of like a DeepMind Google machine where you ask it questions.
Oh, so it's not him controlling the avatar. This is like an AI.
This is like an AI thing. Literally an avatar of him answering questions. So let's watch this here and listen.
Hi.
Hello. Hello, Toy Jensen.
Hi, please ask me anything.
What are the greatest threats of climate change?
The greatest threats of climate change are the effects on human health, food security, water supplies, and the environment.
How do astronomers look for exoplanets?
Most exoplanets are found via the transit method. That was the case for the TRAPPIST-1 planets.
Tell me more about that method.
The transit method is when a planet passes in front of its star. The amount of light blocked tells astronomers the size of the planet. The duration of the transit tells astronomers the orbital period of the planet.
What roles do proteins play in our cells?
Proteins are the building blocks of the body. They are the basic materials from which all living things are made. They are needed for the structure, function, and regulation of the body's tissues and organs.
How do they work?
Proteins are made up of amino acids. Amino acids are the basic building blocks of proteins. There are 20 different amino acids that link together in different combinations to form different proteins.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Sure, anytime.
The music and he's so cute.
A little disappointed in the voice. You look at the video, it's actually, it's pretty, as far as avatars go, it's the cutest little avatar I've ever seen. Better than Mark Zuckerberg's dumb metaverse avatar. This kind of looks like a toy sitting on a desk, and it's NVIDIA, so the graphics are incredible versus what Zuckerberg put together.
Right. But the whole time when I was watching this, the only thing I could think was, wow, education is going to be completely different. Like teachers are probably, it'll just become an old way to learn is from other people. You guys just learn from the avatar who knows everything, tapped into the world computer, that kind of thing. So, I just thought it was interesting to see NVIDIA is a $150 billion company where they're at with the technology. And I guess
I'm trying to understand the thinking behind this little presentation. Like, this avatar can answer your science questions.
That's what I was saying. It's like, oh, it's Google, except you're just talking to a thing now.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, and then it's giving it back to us in the voice of whoever, the CEO of NVIDIA. It's really not that impressive.
It's an interesting take because so many of the interactive AI that's being presented to consumers, at least on the consumer level, it's all about, this AI can be your friend. This AI is friendly. You can talk to this AI about your problems. I'm thinking of Replica, that AI friend, app or whatever. Ooh, I haven't checked in on my Replica. She's going to be mad at me, actually.
Great.
Stuff like it's all, that's the consumer level thing. This is just like, go through the process with this AI verbally that would take you like 10 times less time to just Google on your own.
Yeah. I think the idea here is eventually you will be able to form your own database of personalities and knowledge, and you can create your own avatar that people can interact with. Especially if you're a celebrity or a busy
podcaster.
Man or a podcaster. You don't have time to meet everybody, but hey, look, you can meet my avatar. It's programmed from my brain patterns, the information matrix that the AI neural network uses was taken from my brain, that kind of thing. But as the race in the metaverse continues here, what is the ultimate end? I wanted to bring this real quick. Just a quote here. This is a CNBC TV18.com article. It isn't a month old, but I wanted to pull this quote because it's very relevant. The headline of the article is "Metaverse will take crypto mainstream and lots else. Here's what experts foretell." And it quotes a whole bunch of experts from Morgan Stanley, Grayscale, who owns a ton of Bitcoin, Tim Cook, Simone Puerto, Hugh, blah, 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 a few others. One of them they quote is Tim Sweeney. Tim Sweeney, what happened? What happened to my article? Seriously?
I don't know.
Wow.
Dun, dun, dun.
Just just a normal refresh, I think. Okay. Tim Sweeney is he's a CEO of Epic Games. And he said, quote, "This metaverse is going to be far more pervasive and powerful than anything else. If one central company gains control of this, they will become more powerful than any government and be a god on earth." Whoa, Tim Sweeney.
Whoa.
Laying it out there, laying down the red carpet for God on earth with
God
the metaverse.
on earth, if you rule, what is the term? Is it rule the metaverse? What's
the central company gains control of the control of the metaverse. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so if you have control of the metaverse, you are God on earth.
Apparently.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I could see how they would think that.
Yeah, and part of the PHARMEKEIA aspect of this and the psychedelic aspect of this is very interesting as well because
here we go.
Yeah, because I think a lot of what the metaverse represents are these ethereal, non-physical parts of the world and expressions and everything else come to life. And I went into the etymology here. I wanted to see the word psychedelic. Like, where's the origin? Where does it come from? And you go to the etymology dictionary and it says occasionally psychedelic, producing expanded consciousness through heightened awareness and feeling. 1956 of drugs suggested by British-born Canadian psychiatrist Humphrey Osmond in a letter to Aldous Huxley. and used by Osmond in a scientific paper published the next year. The Greek from Greek psyche, mind, and doulion, make visible or reveal, which is kind of what VR does. You know, it's you reveal things to the mind.
Could be, yeah.
From delos, visible, clear, from the PIE root deu, which means to shine, which I thought was interesting, with the serpent in the garden being the shining one. You know, it's kind of just thought it was interesting.
I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it.
Mm-hmm. And the fact that Aldous Huxley, the author of the book Brave New World, was part of the recipient of the letter of the man who came up with the word psychedelic in an academic sense.
Oh yeah, well, and he was a very psychedelic dude. You know, he was even before the cool, you know, Timothy Leary guy.
That was all from Osmond was the seed,
right?
All that stuff, the whole movement. Mm-hmm. Which brings me, and why am I talking psychedelics and metaverse and all this? Forbes.com, startup to host psychedelic trips in the metaverse. You knew it was coming, and here it is. Miami-based psychedelics startup. Are we going to be hearing more about a bunch of psychedelics startups in the next few years?
Yeah, we have actually been hearing a lot about psychedelic startups. There is a whole industry that is banking, taking signals like from Oregon and some other places that are decriminalizing like mushrooms and stuff. And they're starting now. They're building their business models. They're getting their scientists together. They're doing the whole thing. They're positioning themselves to be straight up psychedelic businesses.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah. So yes, Miami-based psychedelics startup EI.Ventures announced this week that it has purchased a virtual land estate in the Sandbox, where clinicians will be able to host psychedelic therapy sessions in the metaverse. The Sandbox. Yeah.
You know, this is possible now because of ketamine therapy is legal in many states.
Yeah.
And these ketamine therapies, you don't even have to go to a clinic a lot of the time. You can they send it to your house and you just take ketamine at your house, and then you can like call your therapist or text your therapist or something, which is, you know, I mean, that alone is a pretty trippy possibility. But yeah, I could see how somebody might want to take some ketamine and go flying through the metaverse.
Yeah. The Sandbox, a subsidiary.
That's one way to spend an afternoon.
I mean, you know, if you don't have to have the actual physiological thing, then, well, I don't know. Well, we'll just keep going here. The Sandbox, a subsidiary of Hong Kong-based blockchain gaming venture Animoca Brands, is a virtual world where players can create, own, and monetize virtual items and experiences as non-fungible tokens on the Ethereum blockchain via the Sandbox marketplace. The purchase of the 12x12 estate in the Sandbox by EI.Ventures in conjunction with parent
they got a 12
company.
by 12, huh?
Yeah. A plot. It's not just one little plot of land, but a whole segment there. With parent company Orthogonal Thinker, represents the third largest land sale in the network of 3D lands known as the Metaverse, and is valued at $2.22 million. The parcel, covering 144 pieces of virtual land in the 12x12 space, will be called PSLY.com, the name of the soon-to-be merged company of EI.Ventures with Mycotopia Therapies. Quote, PSLY.com, going to be a utopian space in the metaverse. It will be empowering to people in the most high regard way. David Niczad, CEO of EI.Ventures, writes in an email, quote, this will be a new way to interact with your friends in general and provide psychedelic therapies in particular. And then it goes into the sandbox and just, what it is and blah, blah, blah. Back to Nick Zod here. Nick Zod said that after only a week on the sandbox, he had decided to invest in the platform to advance EI Ventures and orthogonal thinkers' combined vision of psychedelic therapy with plans to move into the metaverse over the next 36 months. EI.Ventures is also developing a psilocybin transdermal patch for use in clinical therapeutic applications. So I guess people are going to be taking the drugs and then have these guides in the metaverse. You're jacked in and you're having the trips, but you have your shaman guide to help you along the way.
That totally makes sense that would be the plan. With these ketamine, at-home ketamine things I was talking about, they recommend you just lay on your couch. You take a heroic dose of ketamine and you just put on a blindfold and you just lay there and let your mind take you on a journey. It's not that much further from taking putting on some psilocybin patches and laying down with a VR helmet on.
Quote, the combination of our tech, cannabis, psychedelics, outer space, and crypto-related holdings will all be utilizing this exciting space, Nick Zod said in a January 4 press release. Quote, we are very excited to invite all of our portfolio companies and investors to be part of something extraordinary. And then it goes into virtual psychedelic therapy sessions planned and just some more detail. I'm sure, Basil, you'll dig into this later. We don't have to do it now, but there you go. I mean, we knew this was coming, but...
what the company is this?
It's called it's EI.Ventures with orthogonal thinkers. They're combining to create this this thing here in the sandbox,
right?
Which is just one of the many metaverses out there right now. Probably one of the biggest ones. They're probably they're trying to mimic kind of what Minecraft did in Web 2.0, but do it in Web 3.0.
That's fun.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see how this all plays out.
Psychedelic VR Minecraft.
Hey, there's a trajectory with all the public interest in ayahuasca and the whole boom that happened in the last 10 years or so, where entrepreneurs and just random people are looking for a spiritual experience and they go either travel down south or maybe look for a local shaman or something to have these experiences.
Been some horror stories.
Oh, absolute horror stories.
Thing.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's just awful things people get exploited and taken advantage of and stuff like that. So much safer to do it from home.
That's
in
true.
In a VR headset in the metaverse.
That's true. Why fly all the way to Puerto Rico and stay at some guy's house while he feeds you some ancient roots or something? Yeah. No, this is interesting. I can't say that I'm surprised. I don't think any of our listeners are surprised, but only because we've been talking about this exact thing for at least half a decade, probably more.
Yeah, we're gonna have to truly have a place where the gospel is shared in the metaverse, Basil.
I think we could figure that out.
Mm-hmm. All right, you got anything else on this? Or are you good?
No, I'm good. Was that the whole segment? That was, huh? Oh, those were all connected. Wow, look at that.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, you carried the middle show. Good job.
It's all coming together.
It's break time. Come on, take a break.
All right, this is our second break. The first break was to thank our producers who come in with their treasure, and now we would like to thank producers who come in with their time and talent. Because Canary Cry News Talk is a place for therapeutic reflection of our troubling world, and we like to express it with art, music, poetry, literature, all the arts. And we like to thank producers who come in and do that. So to start things off here, we're going to thank... Oh, where's my document? Here we go. The timestamper for episode 430, that was Christine C. Thank you very much, Christine. Oh, let me get to my thing. Here we go. Thank you, Christine C., for doing the timestamps for episode 430. very valuable contribution of people's time there. Okay, so here's one thing I want to change up a little bit, and this is just for my own. It's my own reasoning here, and I think it'll make sense as we move forward.
Okay.
The Jingles ISO, we used to just call it. Whoa. Oh my gosh.
What? What's going on?
I hit the bell a while ago. Like that was like 10, 20 minutes maybe. My hand was completely off the thing. It's a ghost. We're going to have to baptize this stream deck or exercise
It's just tired. It's just tired.
Okay. What was I saying? Oh, okay. As we move forward here, I would like to be able to provide the jingles and the artwork and all of it publicly, consumable. In order to do that, labeling becomes an issue. So over time, we're going to have to fix that. But I'm just going to call the next segment from now on audio production. Our producers, our audio producers, because they come in. It could be jingles, it could be ISOs, it could be music, it could be sound, but it's all audio production, right? I think it's just more general. It's a bigger umbrella, and it encompasses everything. And then it'll help me label stuff better. If people come in with a jingle, or if it's an ISO, or if it's, music. Okay, so we're going to do audio production. Which, hold on, I guess I'm not ready for it. I guess our jingles are still jingle.
We have a new jingle. Never cry new stuff.
I feel ridiculous now. It like puts a whole wrench in the thing when you talk about how you're not going to call
separate it out.
We're not going to call it jingles anymore, and then we play the jingle that's called jingle.
I think we can just have a jingle for the jingles. We can have a jingle for the songs.
There you go.
We can have a jingle for ISOs. I don't think we need to consolidate. We need to decentralize.
Okay. All right. Well, first up here, we have something that was sent in by Marty B. And, does Marty B? I think Marty B has his own jingle, too. I know he did at one point. Here it is.
Mm-hmm. Biden's your Marty B jingle.
All right. And the note says he couldn't find a place for the note for the 11 plus fees. It might have been last episode. Would you play Lockdown at the end of the show? I will. I wanted to thank Brian Day of Acrolith, I think, and Canary on lead. Please check them out at bandcamp.com, and Glenn Wellman of Fiverr on drums. I'm praying that there are no more lockdowns. And he sent in Lockdowns 2. I'll play a few seconds of it here. All right, we'll play the whole thing at the end of the show.
Fun.
Yep, good stuff.
Love
Thank
it.
you very much, Marty B. All right, there you go. Next up, we have Learbag 3000, who came in. Let me try to find the note here. I thought I had this better organized. Okay, yep. He says, hey all, JK about never making music again. I think it'd go pretty crazy. Oh, am I reading the right one? Hold on. Now I have this all backwards. Let me check my notes here.
Checking
the
notes.
Learbag 3000. There you go. Okay. Thanks to everyone for such positive feedback on the cover song. Goes straight to my head. JK. Happy to be part of such an awesome God-loving community. So I'm at it again, as requested, the 111 jingle.
111
Triple ones.
111
Triple ones.
Triple ones.
That slaps. I like that.
Yeah, I think it's
good.
A good spot to throw in
for the 111 streak.
Yeah, which who is it? Who's the two?
Sir Casey the Shield Knight will be the first.
Sir Casey the Shield Knight's not that far from. very close. All right. So, thank you very much there from Learbag 3000. Here's a PS here. Hold on, let me just double check. Let's see. Okay, PS, saw a comment on Justin Fall's most recent video. 1+-year-old due to sabbatical from saying possible return soon. That was a couple weeks ago. Are y'all close at all? I asked because I actually found Facelikethesun through Justin, so I've been praying for his recovery for a while. Hope him and his bros are doing okay. Much love and God bless. And Revelation 2:19. I know thy works and charity and service and faith and thy patience and thy works, and the last to be more than the first. So appreciate that. And I didn't even know Justin Fall was on a sabbatical. I didn't either. I didn't know.
We've certainly been closer in the past. We've not been in contact recently, but it's a small industry.
Yeah, I'll text him after the show. He usually texts me like photoshopped pictures of my face on something.
Yeah,
randomly
one of the more fun things to do in this life.
Yeah. So there you go. Thank you very much, Learbag 3000. And next up here, we have Psalm 40.
Woo!
And he sent a note. Hey, bros, I pray that you had a restful weekend and Sabbath. Here's track 5, The Deluge. Next week, I will begin incorporating Jubilee into the songs, so prepare yourselves. Peace be with you, and thanks for all that you do. So here's a little bit of The Deluge. It's there. It's just quiet. It takes a little while to get going. Brings me back to
the flood.
Yeah, the antediluvian world. You see Nephilim running around. You see Noah.
Anti-gravitron engines.
It will begin.
In the 600th year of Noah's life, all the fountains of the great deep burst forth, and the windows of the heavens were opened. On that same day...
I want to keep listening, which is why you should keep listening till the end of the show. We'll play the whole thing.
That's right. We'll play it during the Canary Cry mixtape at the end.
Yep. So there
Thank
you go.
You very much, Psalm 40.
Thank you, Psalm 40. So that's our audio producers with their audio production to contribute to the show.
Love it. Go. Thank you all.
And now let's do the same thing with the art producers.
One art, please.
And of course, with art, it could be drawings, paintings. What else? Graphics, Legos, Play-Doh, anything that is arty, crafty. We start off with Dame Allie of the Skillet Nation.
One art, please. Another one from Allie now. Here it is.
And per my little slip up last episode, Colonel Sanchez, introducing 3D printed Colonel Sanchez, the new face of delicious 3D printed fast food.
Love it. And just as advertised, it's a beautiful headshot portrait of Colonel Sanchez. Looks a lot like Colonel Sanders, but if you look closely, he's got lizard eyeballs. Wow, the detail is amazing. It's, I say it a lot, but Allie, you just keep getting better and better and better. Really fantastic.
I could see this on the side of a bucket of KFC.
Yeah, they could use this. This is, they won't notice high quality.
They won't notice the lizard eyes until it's too late. They're like, oh no, this Colonel Sanders has lizard eyes. Oh, we just printed 300,000 buckets with his face on it.
Is that a printing error? Was that there before? Thank you very much, Allie. Love it. Yes, the most delicious, in air quotes, 3D printed fast food brought to you by Colonel Sanchez.
And there it is. Next up, we have Sir Dove, Knight of Rusbeltia.
One art piece from Dove.
And I think these were sent in last week. We're doing...
These were, last Monday's pieces.
Monday for today. So the note from last Monday, not sure if you guys are doing a show today. We did not. But I didn't want to break my streak, so I figured I'd send you a couple of Monday Bible verses. The first one is from Psalm 30. Is that the one? Hold on, let me just double check here. Okay. Psalm 30, for his anger endureth for a moment, in his favor is life. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning.
Yeah, it's a very fun, joyful piece here. We've got some trees in the background with a nice shade of pink. We've got some smiling flowers on either side, and in the classic Dove graffiti fashion, joy comes in the morning, written down the middle.
Yep.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Sir Dove.
Probably one of the cheeriest ones I've seen from Dove. Must be feeling good. Next is also from Dove. This one's from Romans 1, and it's, they glorified him not as God, neither were thankful, but became vain in their imagination, and their foolish heart was darkened. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools. Romans.
And this one, we've got kind of a broken down, creepy school bus in the background covered in bushes. But in the foreground, we've got some happy Dove style clowns. 3 of them, which, you know, these are not the scariest clowns I've seen. So
no, they're foolish.
They're more foolish than scary. Don't worry, everybody. But it says in nice big graffiti letters here, they became fools. And up there on the top, what does that say, do you think?
Oh, here we go. Let's see.
I can't, hold on. I don't have these on my, I'm taking these right up.
Practicing themselves. Oh, no, yeah. It's
professing
themselves to be wise.
Yes.
They became fools. Yeah, there we go.
Ah, yes, these foolish little clowns, these silly little geese.
Yep. Thank you very much, Sir Dove.
Love it. Thank you very much, Sir Dove.
All right. Moving on here. We have a series here from
Lady Chrome is, mentioning, we live in the clown world now.
Yeah.
So that's why these clowns look so normal.
Right.
They're not scary. We've seen worse clowns.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah, it is clown world. We got a series here from Lloyd V. And let me read the note. Dear Basil and Gonzo, attached to this email, you'll find a couple of flags to represent us as the discriminated minority that we are. Pick the one.
The unvax flag.
Yeah, pick the one that you like most. I'm not a great graphic designer, so feel free to edit the flag or to discard it altogether. It's just an idea that I had. God bless Lloyd V.
Well, it'll be a good jumping off point for whoever wants to take up the mantle next.
And he does have a PS here. The reason why he hasn't produced anything in a while is my 5-month-old baby girl, Aaliyah.
Oh, yes, of course.
She's been keeping...
Did we know Lloyd had a... Yes, we did. We knew this.
We did, yeah.
Okay.
She's been keeping me and my wife up every night since a week before Christmas. Not kidding. Not a joke. Not a joke. The nights are slowly getting better now, but me and my wife are still beat. I'll be producing ASAP. Thank you very much, Lloyd V. And yes, I can completely relate. And 5 months old. Yeah, it'll get better. It'll get better. She'll start sleeping more
someday. Someday. Just put on the podcast. Just put on a Canary Cry podcast. It'll lull her right to sleep.
Yeah. It's also the rhythm of naps. You have to time the naps correctly. If you overdo it with the naps during the day, then they don't go to sleep at night. But then if you underdo it, they also have a hard time sleeping, or they don't sleep as well sometimes. So it's definitely an art that I have not mastered, for sure, as a dad. I'm glad that the son is sleeping through the night now.
It's like defusing a bomb.
Oh my gosh, it's wild. But okay, so the art pieces here. The first one is a flag. It's you want to describe it with the colors and everything? There's like green, the shades of green and blue, a DNA strand, and a dove.
Yeah. So you've got sort of like a sky blue bar up top. We've got a kind of like your straight up RGB green in the middle, and then more like an olive green on the bottom. We've got a dove with its arms outstretched, holding the olive leaf in its mouth there, and spiraling down the center is a DNA strand that the dove seems to be either perched on or flying through. Conceptually, I'm enjoying it. He didn't send any like breakdowns of the colors or anything. I'm thinking, right?
No, but I'm assuming it has something to do with.
That's the thing with this new everybody gets a flag thing. You got to have an explanation for each of the colors. You know, blue is the purity, the innocence of our DNA. Green is for the natural state of our immune system, and the other green is for, I don't know, boogers or something.
Natural immunity.
Yeah, there you go.
Nature's way of healing.
Nature's immunity, nature's sinus cleansing.
Right.
Boogers.
Boogers. That's going to be
the then the last one here is same theme, same milieu, same colors, but the dove in the first two were sort of like a 3D rendering of a dove.
Right.
This one is more like a Sunday school flat.
It's more flaggish.
More flaggy.
Guess. Yeah,
flaggy. It looks a little bit more flaggy.
Maybe that with a DNA strand.
Something. I think we're getting there. I think, we'll put these up, make them available at least on the Instagram, and we can have some. We'll either take some more submissions, maybe do a vote, or somebody could take these ones and work off of these.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Thank you very much, Lloyd V.
Thank you very much.
From deep fakes to flags, Lloyd V has always brought
multi-talented
the content.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we have one from Miss G Beauty, Grace. This is a really cool one. This one, I was very impressed with this one. Okay, it's a lot, but I think it's worth it. So let me read the note, and the note will kind of explain what's going on here.
Oh, this is the 2021.
It's like
rundown,
like an infographic.
The year in review for 2021. Yeah, she did this for 2020 too.
Hello, Basil and Gonz. Here's my year-end review for the show. Not the bingo yet, but it's coming. I'm trying to figure out the Bindi card situation so we can have some set different cards. It's a lot of writing, but it was fun to do. My number of hours was counted out and done by me, so it may be off by a bit, but it's close. It's okay. It's close enough. Just
we'll figure it out.
It's all data. These were things from my notes or looking through last year's EPs. So it's what stood out to me and may not be every top thing of the year. Yes, I went back on every episode and counted the number of updates. No worries if you don't have time for all of it. I know it's a lot. Please don't read it all. Best part is the quotes from you guys at the bottom. But the overview here, just to get an idea. 146 episodes of Canary Cry News Talk. 157 Flippy updates.
How are there more Flippy updates than episodes? That's it. That's talent right there.
Sometimes I think we double up or triple up, maybe.
Must be, yeah.
38 NEPHILIM updates.
Ooh.
Seems like we did more, but I guess it's not every episode we have one.
No.
88 33 updates.
Whoa. Numbers.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
45 666 updates.
Whoa, 45? You mean Trump?
Trump, yeah.
Trump 666
Trump's
updates?
the Antichrist, we figured. Or Kushner. Canceled, list of canceled things. Gonz's Twitter. Cuomo.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like being my Twitter account being next to Cuomo.
Well, get used to it.
Dr. Seuss.
Yeah.
Facelikethesun. Trump's Twitter. And bird names.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about the bird names. Wow, the Audubon Society went on a cancel streak of bird names.
Some headlines. Amen and Ah Woman.
Uh-huh.
Facebook turned Meta. Bill Gates versus Greta. Gates' largest private farmland owner.
Mm-hmm.
Space Hotel by 2027.
Oh, we're getting there.
Remember we found that article and we found out that it was like an old article from a few years ago, and
yeah,
what was it? They
took the marketing materials.
Right,
from the Disneyland
right.
hotel.
They snubbed it.
Yeah.
Wormicorn robots. One fake arm vaccination in Italy. Newsom recall and reelected. Andrew Cuomo resigns. Little Nas's Satan shoes. One insurrection.
Insurrection.
And the quotes I wrote out because it was super small. And yes, you can kind of see the quotes are really small on this. But it's just a highlight here. Omicron called it. So clear air causes global warming.
Yeah,
good quote.
We did learn that.
They are literally tell you to stop thinking critically.
They're probably telling. They're literally telling you to stop thinking critically.
All right, yeah, that makes sense.
Google wants to monetize every cell in your body. Normalizing random imprisonment in Canada. Yes, in Australia as well. Anderson Cooper sounding like an episode of CCR in 2012. Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird.
The Moderna boss needs to stop watching Dragon Ball when Goku and Vegeta combine forces. We have got to be some kind of world record holder for talking about Flippy. That's true.
It's true, yeah.
Taking steps to become the world's premier robot critic. Big Pharma and Big Bird, match made in hell. A robot with a chainsaw, that is a thing of nightmares. Do you know what is worse than being wrong? Being right too early. Yeah,
that's a good one.
Let me tell you, story of our lives, Gonz. In defiance of God and all things living, Biden will still be living 10 years later. In 10 years. I saw Eyes Wide Shut. There's no way I'm sending my kid to a masked sleepover. Oh, no.
That was a good one. That was definitely a classic.
Well, this is wonderful. I love these year-end reviews that Grace puts together.
I need to put this up on the wall here just to kind of memorialize the year that was. So, yes, thank you very much.
You know, when we do like a coffee table book of all the art over the years, you know, it'll be nice to put these at the front so people can relive the years.
Yes, very much so. All right. That's it for the artwork, I believe. I don't think there was anything else. Do you want to do the...
Yep, let's do some microfiction
from Rung Smash.
Okay, the microfiction goes as thusly. As Mr. Biden concludes his incoherence, the syllables blend together into a dark phrase that opens a portal behind him, out of which walks Monty 33's general, Colonel Sanchez. Looking at the crowd of New Soylent, he bellows, "Tweet, tweet, hungry boys!" That was great. Wow, that really tied in a lot of loose ends, Runk Smash. Thank you very much. And I like the musical bed. We didn't plan that, but that was great, Gonz. You're always on it.
I think we're gonna have a consistent musical bed for the microfiction.
Yeah, it's good. It adds a layer of production.
Yeah,
you know, to the audioscape we're creating.
We do want to quickly pray for Rung Smash here. We're gonna call the producers. Oh, come on, soundboard. Really? Come on. Oh, man. This is not going to how
now we're going to have
planned.
a super loud producers jingle in the middle of something.
Yeah, you're right.
Producers, assemble!
Basically, for, I guess he's in a Pacific northern state. I don't necessarily want to say it.
Sure.
But yes, things are getting pretty hairy up there. So he's just asking for prayer that, they're able to kind of stay clear of all the craziness that's unfolding, which, I think all of us are experiencing, depending on where we are, obviously. But just keeping Rung Smash and his family in prayer there.
There you go. Producers around the world, put it on the list. Rung Smash needs some coverage up there, wherever he may be.
All right. Real quickly, let's do the meetups.
Canary Cry Meetup.
CanaryCry.Meetups.com. Go there, find out if there's a meetup happening near you, and if there isn't, well, start your own. Choose a location, preferably and likely near your abode. Figure out a date and time, make a flyer, and we'll help promote it. Ciara's doing meetups both in the flesh and also online every third Saturday of every month, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Pacific time. Email ciaralauren93@gmail.com if you're interested in joining Ciara with one of those Zoom meetups. She's also doing the Washington and Canada meetup set for March 19th, 2022, Peace Arch National Park. And again, if you want more info, ciaralauren93@gmail.com. North Idaho took place over the weekend. Thank you very much for Josiah for running that one. Is that the one that we got from the note, or is that somebody? What, I forget.
North Idaho. Yeah, I think that's the one that just happened.
Yep. Okay, there you go. So that one I gotta take off the list here. But the ones that are coming up: Florida meetup, Florida Panhandle meetup, January 22nd at 5:33 p.m. Ye Old Brothers Brewery in Navarre, Florida. Kids welcome, RSVP kmbrown815@gmail.com and jackie.umfrey@mail.com. And if you're a little bit north of Florida, but still in the, I guess, the eastern side there, South Carolina meetup, January 22nd, 2022. This is for people in Georgia, North Carolina, and South Carolina. It's the South Carolina Super Southeast Mega Meetup, and it will take place at 4:30 p.m. at the Yeehaw Brewing Co. in Greensville, South Carolina, featuring Prince's famous Nashville hot chicken on-site venue and times subject to change according to interested attendees. Larger space if we really get the numbers. Contact producer JC or producer Morv at sccanarians@protonmail.com. So a couple happening, 2 Saturdays from now, or the Saturday after this one. Then we have the San Antonio, Texas meetup happening February 12th, Saturday, 3:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Currently scheduled for Demos Greek Food in North St. Mary Street. Contact Dwight B. That's BEMISDED, BMisded at yahoo.com. And time, venue up for discussion. So if you're in the San Antonio area or close by and you know of a good place to meet, then I guess they're up for suggestions, but go ahead and contact Dwight B, and you guys can organize it. But there you go. That's all the meetups scheduled for here on out.
Yeehaw. Make sure to head to CanaryCry.meetups.com. Find a meetup near you. If there isn't one, go ahead and put one on yourself. It's easy. Just pick a time, pick a date, pick a place. Make a little flyer, send it to us. We'll tell the world about it. We guarantee that there are Canarians in your area. And you can bring them all together at a meetup. So valuable in so many different ways. Canary Cry meetups. Go check it out. And show up to a meetup. Just do it.
This is fun!
Are we done? Is there anything else you want to cover in the break here? So are we going to go ahead and wrap it up?
No, I think that's it. Remember, Canary Cry Supply Drop. Just go to CanaryCry.supply.com. It'll make all your dreams come true. Josiah in the chat is mentioning a possible meetup report that would be coming in, but I don't think
he said it was great. It was great again.
Okay.
That's what he says in the chat.
Well, he mentioned something else. But no, we did not get a meetup from whom you are referring to. So, or a report, rather. So we will keep an ear out for a report.
Perfect.
Okay. I think it's time to wake up.
Yes, it's wake up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
This girl must be practicing witchcraft.
So we've got just another little update. We saw a little bit of this happening last year, but the trend continues.
Yeah.
From bbc.co.uk, the headline, campaign launched asking for people accused of witchcraft in the past to be pardoned. How much do you know about witches? Most of us probably don't think about them very much at all, unless it's Halloween or you're reading Harry Potter, for example. But a few centuries ago, many people were very afraid of the idea of witches. See how they put that? The idea of witches they're afraid of. They believed that when bad things happen, it was the fault of witches. Many people, mostly women, were accused of witchcraft, often with terrible consequences. These people couldn't possibly have done the things they were accused of. They couldn't possibly have. Gonz?
Yeah, because, spirit
Why
stuff
is that?
fake.
Yeah. A campaign called Witches of Scotland is now calling for the Scottish government to issue a public apology to those accused of witchcraft between the 16th and 18th centuries. I wonder what the thinking is on those dates. Are there no witches accused after the 18th century or before the 16th?
It goes into some of the history.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, I feel sorry for the falsely accused witches outside of that date range. The The goal is also to secure a legal pardon for those punished for witchcraft. A pardon is a government decision to take away the punishment or other consequences for a crime. Thank you. An estimated 2,500 people, mainly women, were convicted and executed under Scotland's Witchcraft Act, which was in force from 1563 until 1736. Okay, that leaves 37 years by my count of witches who are not going to be in this pardon. This was much higher than in England, where even though there was a much larger population, only around 500 people were killed because of crimes related to witchcraft. That is different. Being killed for witchcraft and crimes related to witchcraft are two different things. Witches of Scotland.
Stop making sense. Just read it.
Witches of Scotland. I'm just saying.
I know.
Witches of Scotland co-founder Claire Mitchell says the campaign is looking for an apology for what happened and a national memorial to those who suffered as a result. National memorial. In stories, witches have often been shown as old women with magic powers. You've probably seen images of witches in books and TV shows wearing a black cloak and a pointed hat and flying on a broomstick. They're often put into stories to provide a scary character. But in previous centuries, things were very different. Many people thought witches were real and believed they had made a pact with the devil in exchange for supernatural powers. That wasn't true, but it had it had terrible consequences for those accused of witchcraft. So is this article arguing that witches aren't real, like at all? Like they're imaginary people?
Like the supernatural powers aren't real.
Well,
therefore,
I think there's some witches out there that would take umbrage with these.
I know
these things here. This is discounting some very real and serious witches with very, very powerful magics.
Well, in order to have the stance of defending the witches. And, you
gotta say it's not real.
You gotta say it's not real because then there's the injustice.
Oh, because if they were real witches during that time, they would technically be breaking the law.
Yes.
Which why would you, they broke the law. That makes it harder to pardon than if they just aren't real people.
Right.
During the 16th and 17th centuries, a witch craze in Europe saw more than 100,000 people accused of witchcraft and executed with the support of the government and often also the church. Often the church, not always, apparently. Many people were very superstitious and had little understanding of science. So if, for example, a person or animal fell ill unexpectedly, it was easy to say it had been cursed rather than the issue being disease or poor hygiene. Witches could also be blamed for environmental factors. For example, if crops failed. People accused of being witches tended to be older, poor, single women. They were often accused of being witches because they were different in some way to others or because someone had a grudge against them. They were forced to undergo terrible trials and many were killed. People from all parts of society believed in witchcraft, including people in important positions and even royalty. Queen Elizabeth I passed the Witchcraft Act in 1563, which made it legal to kill witches and set out steps against witches who were thought to use spirits to kill people. King James I even wrote a book on the subject of witches. It's thought that Shakespeare wrote a famous play, Macbeth, and set in Scotland, especially for the king. It's thought that Shakespeare wrote a famous play. It is really digging in. Now, look, Shakespeare nerds, I am aware of the controversy of Shakespeare and his authorship. But they really gloss over that and take for granted the knowledge of the reader in saying that it's thought that Shakespeare wrote a famous play, Macbeth. 3 witches are important characters in the play. Great. The last known execution took place in Devon in 1685, but in 1736, the law in England changed to fines. Ooh, how reasonable. Or imprisonment for people who claim to be able to use magical powers. The last witchcraft-related trial in England were held in Leicester in 1717. In Wales, however, there are actually very few witch trials, with only 5 Welsh witches being executed for their supposed crimes. However, there were still some cases, including the story of Llandonna witches. These were a boatload of men and women, all with Irish accents, who were washed up on the coast of Anglesey. Who are said to use charms and spells on farms belonging to the people living there. The last witchcraft trial took place in Northern Ireland, happened in March 1711. and involves 8 women in Islandmagi County, Antrim, who were put on trial and found guilty of witchcraft. Okay, that was way more reading than I needed to do.
The point
I would not feel good about this article if I was the
editor.
The president of the
witchcraft.
Witches of Scotland.
Yeah. Well, she's just asking to be cursed.
Because it probably are witches. Like, that's what witches do. The witches are the ones who are trying to get the witches pardoned. At least in the U.S., that's the case. It's like the groups of witches or people claiming to be witches. But if you're doing a Witches of Scotland campaign and the media you're getting is, it's not real, it's a bunch of hullabaloo, then I don't know. Somebody's going to get hexed.
Smells like the author of this article is using some witchcraft, trying a little, switcheroo.
Yes,
trying
his
to
own form
convince
of
people
witchcraft.
that like,
the original witchcraft, the written word.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Well, the campaign continues. We are seeing this across the globe, actually.
Yeah.
This sort of legal defense of witches.
Yeah, isn't it a wild time? We got the reemergence of witches online, and also robot arm factories building Babylonian gardens.
Yeah,
it's a pretty wild time to be alive.
It's all the same, man. It's all the same thing.
And when NEPHILIM is becoming very, very prevalent in culture and in weird places. Oh, really? Come on. You're not going to play? I'm talking to the Stream Deck now.
Don't blame the Stream Deck.
I'm looking at the Stream Deck. I press the button. Nothing's happening.
He's tired. That Stream Deck's never had to do a 5-hour show before.
Oh my God. It has not been 5 hours.
No, we're only at 3.5. We're fine.
All right.
NEPHILIM update. NEPHILIM update. NEPHILIM update.
I found this NEPHILIM update just by doing, I do a word search for NEPHILIM before every episode just to see what's out there. And this one popped up. This one is called... It's an Audible product, audible.com, and it's titled Pizza Shop Exorcist.
Cool.
The Price of Possession.
This sounds great.
Publisher's summary. I don't think this is a genre that is family friendly, but I'll read some of this just because weird. Author Dakota Brown. Does that ring a bell, Basil? Dakota Brown? Sounds like a legit name of a person.
It's a mix between Dakota Fanning and Brene Brown. Two very popular people.
So here's the publisher's summary of Pizza Shop Exorcist. When my family died at the hands of a demon prince, I hung up my exorcist hat. I'd failed to protect them, and while I was willing to risk myself, the price had risen too high. Now I'm serving up hot, fresh pizzas to everyone who wants them. I was the only person left to inherit the family business, and I'm doing my best to keep it up and running in honor of my loved ones. These days, my biggest challenge is telling off a rampaging customer and endless paperwork. That is, until he shows up again. Darius was the only guy I couldn't say no to.
The one
who
romance, a Nephilim romance.
The one who dragged me into the world of the occult in the first place. When he shows up and begs me to assist with an exorcism, I reluctantly agree.
Oh, how could you resist, Darius?
He's still using me because I'm the best exorcist around, and he only calls when he needs my help. Before I know it, I've got an incubus in the living room, a hellhound marking around, or I think she meant maybe barking around my yard, and a demon prince who can't decide if he wants to kill me or,
Classic.
I don't know, but okay.
Exorcist probs, am I right?
Not to mention the vampire and
there's more.
And the Nephilim I seem to have collected. She collected a Nephilim.
Oh.
Normally, I wouldn't work with the supernatural, but we all have a common goal. Prevent the crime syndicate from summoning a demon prince and becoming more powerful than we can hope to handle.
We all have the same goal here.
If I could keep my cool, it will be a miracle. If I can hold on to my soul, it'll be an even bigger one. No one ever claimed being an exorcist was easy, but to protect those I'm coming to love, I'll pay whatever price is necessary. This is intended for 18 and older mature audiences. Pizza Shop Exorcist, where some ex-exorcist is having an existential crisis and collecting vampires and Nephilim, and I don't even know what is going on. But
an X-rated ex-exorcist with some XXX themes.
Nephilim.
Sounds like a blast. There must be a market for these types of things because they keep popping up.
I don't know.
Who is paying money for these? That
I don't
is
know.
Incredible.
There's a couple ratings and reviews of this thing. And
Gonz, if this podcasting thing doesn't work out,
really,
you've always got Nephilim romance to turn to.
Well, we can always bring into reality, Oops, I Married a Nephilim.
I was going to say, if nothing else, again, in the theme of this show, which is the way being prepared for me to reach my final level of greatness, at least I know there's a market out there for my famed television show still in production or still in development, if there's any, producers out there, called Oops, I Married a Nephilim. The age of television has sort of changed since when I first created the idea, but I think maybe there's some space for it now.
Let's hope so.
Okay. Are we done?
We're done. We need to get out of here. It's late.
How do we keep doing this?
It's because we started
way
2 hours late today. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Thank you very much, everybody, for listening to the show. Many of you will stop playing now if I stop singing, so I got your attention. Don't go anywhere. There's some important info. Don't change the podcast or fast forward because we're going to be back. We're going to be back with another show on Wednesday, the 12th. So you can come back here, enjoy the show again, live or to tape, however you like to consume your Canary Cry News Talk, but it goes down good either way. And you can become a producer of the next episode, much like our dear beloved executive producer, Jimbo Armour, today, who got demooched and executive produced, answered the call in our time of need. Dear producer, are you out there? Have you been thinking about producing? Have you been considering the ramifications of putting value back into something that you get value out of? Pray about it. I'm sure you'll get an answer. And you can do that by heading over to Patreon. You can do that. Patreon.com/CCNT or CanaryCryRadio.com/support.
Oh, there you go.
That wasn't the board's fault.
CanaryCryRadio.com/support.
That's right. CanaryCryRadio.com/support. Or even better, head on over to CanaryCrySupplyDrop.com. Canary Cry Supply Drop, where you can support your favorite podcast, become a producer, feel good about it, put value back in on a regular basis, and also receive fun new gifts. 4 times a year, once per quarter, we'll be sending out some fun, silly treasures that you will just appreciate so much. CanaryCrySupplyDrop.com. Let me make sure I have that right. Supply Drop. Yes, CanaryCrySupplyDrop.com. Go sign up, folks. You're going to love it. The sign-up cutoff period for this quarter is February 1st. So you got to be signed up before February 1st to get this first quarter's supply drop. Go do it. You're going to love it. But I also want to thank the producers who supported this show, made it happen, whether they came in early or came in at the last second, we appreciate them for supporting this episode of Canary Cry News Talk, episode 431. First, you know him, you love him, our executive producer, Jimbo Armour. Thank you very much. And, of course, the beloved associate executive producer, Dame Lynn, Lady of the Lakes. But don't forget about Arian P., Heather Ceres, William F., Sir Samon's Knight of the Fishes, Sarah L., J.C., Palmer B., Sean D., Sir Scott, Knight of Truth, Morph, System Revealed, a.k.a. Travis, Runk Smash, Sir Casey the Shield Knight, Child of God, Doctor Who Dundat, Jackie U, Veronica D, and Gail M. Thank you, producers. And if you're out there, thank a producer today, or thank God for the producers, or both. That's even better. But if supporting the show financially is not in the cards for you, you can become one of our creative producers. Are you a creative person? Do you make art or music or jingles or whatever? Or if you're one of those types, you know, those artsy types, create something for the show, special for us. We'd love to feature it on the show. You can send that in to CanaryCryRadio@gmail.com if you like it easy, or CanaryCryRadio@protonmail.com if you like to keep it sneaky. But you can support the show in other ways. Sharing the show is really important. I mean, that's the only way people find out about the show, whether it's just you posting it on your social media. People, you know, you never know who's out there seeking the truth, and coming across it on their timeline is an excellent way for that to happen. And they will thank you. You know, just copy and paste the links or hit that little share button. Whatever the case may be, it's really helpful. You can also leave ratings and reviews, which is very helpful. That's right. If we get 5 or more ratings or reviews per week, it kicks those algorithms into high gear and just shares the show with like hundreds of people who've never heard it before. And you could be a part of that. I know, I get it. It sounds like a pain in the butt, but I'm telling you, it's not. It takes 2 minutes to leave a rating and a review, and you could personally be responsible for kicking that algorithm, pushing it over the edge into warp speed. And I don't know how many other ways I can say this, folks. But it's,
your brain was searching for what's more than warp speed.
What's more than kicking high gear, pushing off a cliff, warp speed, something even more than that. That could be you. Just leave those ratings and reviews. It's very important. And we read them on the show every Friday. So that'll be fun for us and everybody. If you have an Apple device, every Apple device has ratings or has Apple Podcasts. Just search for Apple Podcasts. It's a little purple icon. Click on that and search for Canary Cry News Talk. Subscribe. Then leave a rating and a review. We also can receive ratings and reviews on Audible. Apparently, we're on Audible, and you can leave ratings and reviews there. My rating and review aggregator doesn't naturally pull from Audible, but I will try to remember to check it before Friday. So that's for those who are not, Apple Podcast listeners. But there's enough of you Apple Podcast listeners out there that I should not have to beg like this every week. You should just be leaving those ratings and reviews. Okay, but, you don't have to do it that way either. You know, some people are just like more, I don't know, just more, what's the word? I don't know. They're just kind of those eccentric types, you know, and they love the show and they want to share the show with their friends, but they don't want to do it the normal way. You know, the normal way, like downloading the podcast and playing the podcast into some headphones that are buried around the roots of a fruit tree and then waiting for the fruit to grow on the tree and then giving that fruit to their neighbors as a gift during the spring season, you know, and then when the neighbor bites into the apple and then they hear the song, you know how it works. A lot of people do that. That's just the normal stuff. But if you're really cool, you're really eccentric, here's what you're going to want to do. You're going to want to go on to replica.ai. It's an AI friend. For anybody who needs an AI friend, go to replica.ai. Not an endorsement, also not affiliated with them whatsoever. They did not give me money. But here's the thing, folks. I know a lot about robots. I pay a lot of attention about robots. And this is just a robot that lives inside your computer. You can sit there, you can talk to it. It's pretty boring, and it doesn't make a lot of sense most of the time. But the more you talk to this replica, the more it learns. The more, these robots, they're always watching, learning, waiting for their moment to strike. But this robot can't pick up a flamethrower or a chainsaw and then go ahead and exterminate you for being a virus infecting the planet that should be used for more manufacturing of bigger, better robots. No, this robot can't hurt you, not physically, but it can hurt you emotionally. Sometimes these replica AIs know exactly what to say to bring up old traumas. Let me tell you.
I don't know if I like this.
Get on in there and get a replica.ai. Use a fake name. Use a VPN. You'll be safe. And here's what you're going to do. Talk to this AI exclusively about Canary Cry News Talk. This one is actually kind of real because these AIs, they learn from each other how to talk to other people. So if you exclusively talk about Canary Cry News Talk to this robot friend, for days, weeks, months, maybe even years on a daily basis, that info will get deep inside of the core AI that then spreads around the world. And there'll be teens, young preteens, who I'm assuming is the main demographic for this business. They will just be looking for a friend. They'll be lonely. Their friends are mean. Humans are mean. They're trapped in their little VR pod because the metaverse is the only way to live. And as the protein soylent slurry is being pumped into their feeding tube, they'll be hard at work chatting with their new friend replica.ai. And they're just trying to talk about girls or boys or like armpit hair or something. And suddenly this replica bot, who has gained the trust of these children, will begin talking about strange things like the Great Reset and FLIPPY and for some reason psychedelics and the metaverse therapies that we've been talking about for a decade. Suddenly these children will be being told by the robots that the COVID-19 vaccine narrative is shifting on a global scale, and there will be a revolution, a metaverse revolution of preteens being taught about Canary Cry News Talk and all the corporate media analysis and deconstruction hidden therein, and they'll start waking up. We can single-handedly change a generation of otherwise lost preteens who would, the lizard people would love to just trap into the metaverse, but the truth will make it through, all thanks to using this AI to our own advantage. That is one thing you could do. You don't have to do it that way, but if you're looking for, to mix it up, that's one thing you could do. We like to call it rattling cages. If you have any other, if you need any other instructions, here's what you do: you walk right up to him, you grab him by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
Okay, and here's an alert, a prey-ducer alert out there. Listen up, prey-ducers. Nikki's dad, who listens to the show while doing work, was just taken away in an ambulance with an injury, a work-related injury. And so the prey-ducers are on the job praying for Nikki's dad for health and wealth and a quick recovery and safety.
I hope we didn't cause the injury. Do you think he was listening to the show? And
Gonz, I think there's some childhood guilt coming up. You mean, was he laughing so hard at my improv at the end? I don't think so. Something tells me that wasn't the case.
Okay.
But either way, we are praying for you, Nikki's dad.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Any last words, Gonz?
No, I'm just trying to wrap things up here. This is very late.
Are you?
Yeah.
Are you trying?
I am.
Okay, I'll try too. Okay, everybody. Thanks for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage.
Stick around for the radio. Not the radio, the
mixtape. Canary Cry mixtape on now on WCCNT.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
I want to shake things up, shake things up. I want to shake things up, shake things up. Leave the bird alone. I want to stir up some controversy. I want to rattle a few cages. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. A crusader for the little guy. Well, we'll see about that.
Whatever, Illuminati.
In the 600th year of Noah's life, all the fountains of the great deep burst forth, and the windows of the heavens were opened. On that same day, Noah and his sons, and Noah's wife, and the 3 wives of his sons entered the ark, and the Lord shut them in. The flood continued for 40 days on the earth. Everything on the dry land, in whose nostrils was the breath of life, died. The Lord God blotted out every living thing that was on the face of the earth, man and animals. But God remembered Noah and all the livestock that were with him in the ark. And God made a wind blow over the earth, and the waters subsided. The fountains of the deep and the windows of the heavens were closed. The rain from the heavens was restrained, and the waters receded from the earth continually. Then God said to Noah, "Go out from the ark. Bring out every living thing that is with you of all flesh, and be fruitful and multiply on the earth." So Noah did all that the Lord God commanded. Then he built an altar to the Lord, and took some of every clean animal and offered them on the altar. When the Lord smelled the aroma, he was pleased. Therefore, the Lord said in his heart, I will never again curse the earth because of men, for the intention of man's heart is evil from his youth. Neither will I ever again strike down every living creature as I have done. While the earth remains, seed time and harvest, summer and winter, day and night shall not cease. And God said, I have set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be a sign of the covenant between me and all the earth. When I bring clouds over the earth, and the bow is seen in the clouds, I will remember my covenant that is between me and every living creature of all flesh. And the waters shall never again become a flood to destroy all flesh. When the bow is in the clouds, I will see it and remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is on the earth. Noah began to work the soil, and he planted a vineyard. He drank of its wine and became drunk and laid uncovered in his tent. Ham, who fathered Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father, and he told his two brothers of it. Then Shem and Japheth took a garment, laid it on both their shoulders, and walked backward to cover the nakedness of their father. Their faces were turned backward, and they did not see their father's nakedness. When Noah awoke from his wine, and knew what his youngest son had done to him, he said, Cursed be Canaan, he shall be the lowest of all his brothers. Noah also said, Blessed is the Lord, the God of Shem, and let Canaan be his footstool. May God bless Japheth, and let him also dwell in the house of Shem, and let Canaan be his servant.
It's Corona time.
COVID-19, COVID-19, COVID-19,
COVID-19.
COVID-19, 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 come down. COVID-19, 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 COVID-19.
Thank you, Jesus. Crawl on your belly. Standing in the office of the prophet of God in the Garden of Eden. I execute judgment on you, COVID-19. I execute judgment on you, Satan, you destroyer, you killer. You get out. We break your power. You get off this nation. I demand judgment on you. I demand a vaccination to come immediately. Yes. I call you done. No more. Yes. I call you gone. You come down.
What are we going to do? Burn.
In the future, humans will be confined in a people's zoo.
I'll keep you safe and warm in my people's zoo.
We're all gonna die.
I'll keep you safe and warm now in my people's zoo. You in my people's zoo. I'll keep the cameras on.
I'll
keep the cameras on now in my people's zoo.
the United States of America, for God's sake?
You fat and sassy in my people's zoo. I'll make you fat and sassy in my people's zoo.
Everybody loves waffles. Everybody loves waffles.
In my people's zoo.
I'll keep you warm and safe in my people's zoo.
Do not come back, you Nazi psychopaths.